Yeah, we're finally cooking.
Have you noticed that autistic has become the mirror image of the word racist in the sense that you call people you don't like but don't really have an argument against racist in the same way you would refer yourself to yourself or people you like as autistic when they display a minimal degree of, tenacity in a mental exercise?
No, you're right. I've seen that, especially around the internet. Actually,
Yeah, like
even it's just become like commonplace.
exactly. It's to the extent where the word has also just lost all meaning to it. So everyone I dislike is racist, but also every character trait that deviates from the standard has to be pathologized and has to be a diagnosis that probably should be medicated.
Yeah, that's one way of. That's certainly one way of putting it, but more quickly, autistic. But yeah, you'd be right. It is definitely it. In that sense, it's kind of become like a buzzword.
Many such cases. I thought of that while I was preparing my tea setup for the recording
Yeah.
because I have some variety and I have to factor in probably not wanting the tea leaves to run out of any juice too many times in the middle of the conversation because it requires me to stand up to go and swap out whatever tea I have in my infuser, which is
Okay. Yeah.
increasing downtime. And I'm like thinking, okay, I'm very particular about this. And people usually refer to people being particular about certain things as being autistic, and that's just
Yeah.
incorrect.
Becoming a very autistic setup of yours, as it
Yes.
would be said.
Yes, like someone would say that I'm very autistic about my tea. No, I just don't like the fucking Holland East India Trading Company standard of orange pekoe, which is subpar shit, subpar tea, which is made of subpar tea leaves, and is generally not a great drinking experience.
Yeah, I mean, you can always put things into it, but the second you start adding shit, you're now like, I don't know, you're not drinking tea, you're drinking additives.
The shit that you've put into it. It's like that TikTok video of some of a person who looks exactly what you would think they look like, putting like five different pumps of syrup into their quote unquote
Yes, their
water.
water.
This is my watering station. Proceeds to put
Yes.
put 300 grams of sugar into the cup.
And what was it called? What did they call it? It
Oh,
was
I
some
don't.
like watermelon variety. It was some. This is how I make my water taste like watermelon.
It was
No,
it
no,
had
that's
some
sugar.
some fucking millennial name to it as well, like so
Yeah,
fucking peach unicorn farts or something like that.
yeah. Oh God.
You can tell that person watches Rick and Morty, unironically, and thinks they're smarter for it.
Or thinks that they're smarter than others because they understand it. One way or another. It's either the show makes them smarter or they're smarter than others because they enjoy the show.
Yes, I think maybe when was that? 10 years ago. Rick and Morty would have been the Big Bang Theory filled that niche of
Oh God.
yes
Yeah.
of
The show that everybody's seen in some capacity anyways.
providing a sense of belonging to people who want to be who now that nerd culture has become cool, they want to have that stolen valor.
Yeah, of being they want to be first to the punch, right? They don't want to be beaten to it.
Not necessarily first, but they want to do the cool thing and they want to subscribe to the cool part of the hobby. And don't get me wrong, liking comic books back then was still good. It was still cool because the industry still wasn't taken over completely. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they don't want to suffer any of the they didn't suffer any of the social costs of being into the hobby as they were growing up.
Yeah, as it would have been not quite as accepted to be partaking in that hobby.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly I treat that as stolen valor. Because listen,
Oh, absolutely.
I had to learn how to snap a 2x4 with my leg in order to be able to practice my hobbies in peace. We are not the
Yeah.
same.
No. You just showed up, took a look at whatever was fancy on TikTok, and then claimed you had any sort of
I don't think
deep
TikTok
knowledge about the topic.
I don't think TikTok was a thing back then, but yeah, some equivalency of
Oh,
it.
sorry, I mean like this day's equivalent.
Yeah.
Like you can see all sorts of people who literally get actual quantitative sources of information off TikTok, and it's like, remind me again why I should be talking with you.
I still to this day I am holding out strong. I have not installed TikTok. I have not looked at TikTok. I deny its existence. I deny installation to it on any of my devices. It shall not pass. I've ignored Snapchat. I've ignored Vines, and I shall ignore TikTok.
Fair enough. Did you
Yeah.
ever use Musically though?
No, I did not.
Wonderful, because that is TikTok before it was TikTok.
I don't know.
TikTok before it was bought out by our overseas friends.
Yeah, by the benevolent Chinese overlords.
Yes, of course.
uh,
Now, actually, that reminds me, the only time I've ever used TikTok where it wasn't foisted upon me by contemporaries was specifically Douyin,
ah,
Chinese web browser TikTok.
I see. I
And the
see.
only thing I saw on it was a tutorial, an animated tutorial on how to trim your toenails. I don't know how I got there, but it was something.
I mean, I'm pretty okay with moderation, with a lot of the moderation on Douyin because
Yeah.
it's set up to promote actual educational material.
Yes, of course. It's a different user experience than TikTok.
Yes, yes. For one, I did laugh at the tough posting because Chinese social media influencers were peddling that video of preschoolers assembling and disassembling some shitty Chinese handgun. And like it's not a useless exercise in the sense that sure you're learning fine motor skills, you're fidgeting with a mechanical object.
Yeah.
It's not really as fierce as they would like to think. For some reason, the Russian army also has that fetishized obsession with field stripping and reassembling AKs.
Hmm.
For some, I guess I know why, because it's a way to keep the your personnel busy, because while they're busy, they can't get up to stupid shit.
That's true. But there's only a certain amount of efficacy to it. That said, I would have no idea what if that's even a practical skill beyond like a certain measure.
Like to a certain extent, you need to be able to field strip your gun because that's first of all how you clean it and maintain it. As
Yeah.
as much as you as an AK requires maintenance because piston driven system, it doesn't really accumulate carbon buildup as much as your direct impingement ARs.
Okay.
And you're able to quickly diagnose what the fuck is wrong with it. Like you take off the dust
Yeah.
cover and like that's your mechanism consists of like three moving parts.
That basically shows you anything you'd need to know at a moment's glance.
Yeah, although, you know what, when you're there's no sense in timing it because whenever there's a time constraint to do so, you're not solving any of that. Even if you're
Yeah.
in Khyber Pass and you have the capability to just manufacture AK parts in some fucking god-forgotten cave, you're still not solving that problem right now.
Yeah.
If your gun no shoot, you eject mag, you re-rack. If it's still no shoot, that's no longer a gun, that's a paperweight.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Is it's like I don't you know, if you're in a real combat scenario, if the gun doesn't shoot and you try the obvious of basically the gun equivalent of turning it off and on again with a magazine
Yes.
and it still doesn't shoot, you are being shot.
Now it's a bludgeon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blunt instrument.
Yes, there have been cases of it being used. I have been regaled with the story of the only the only sniper rifle kill from negative distance when when a ranger group was jumped by a bunch of I think there were Somalis. There were Somalis hunting for ranger tags in
Yeah.
I think in Afghanistan. And
Okay.
in the process of them attempting to ambush a ranger group, one of the snipers, just bashed a dude's face in with the butt of his rifle.
Jesus. Yeah, I see how that would be negative distance though, because from the exit point of the barrel
Yeah,
back to the stock would be negative.
exactly. And there's also some depth that he bashed the stock into the dude's skull. I love hanging out with
That's quite
vets.
visceral.
Yeah, I love hanging out with vets because of that. They have the most fucking deranged stories ever. It's so fun. And they teach you interesting
Yeah.
NDA stuff when they forget where the delineation of NDA stuff actually is.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd make for a good pastime.
Oh, hell
That'd be a
yeah.
fun story I'd listen to.
Yeah. You get to learn very interesting things like, making booby traps with the use of a single fragmentation grenade and a Pringles can.
Oh my god.
Oh, no, not a single fragmentation grenade. Three fragmentation grenades and a
Ah,
Pringles can.
that's still pretty DIY friendly for the average soldier,
Yeah,
foot
yeah.
soldier.
Very much so.
As a matter of fact, honestly, I'd probably guess that it's harder to get the Pringles can in any foot soldier scenario than it is to get 3 fragmentation grenades.
Not really. Given that the US Army has figured out infrastructure and supply chains very well, it's not that
Oh, that's
difficult.
good.
Yeah. Like they have access to, well, naturally some things they have to source from neighboring countries. For example, if they were stationed in Afghanistan, or rather
Yeah.
when they were stationed in Iraq, their go-to energy drink was Wild Tiger Energy,
Yeah.
which is a Jordan-made energy drink
Ah.
that you can
Okay, yeah,
actually
that would make sense.
you can just buy it off of Amazon. It's actually fucking good. It's a good energy drink because it uses cane sugar for your sweetener as opposed to
Okay.
instead of aspartame and like other sweeteners like that.
Yeah, like chemical sweeteners.
Yeah, it's good. I just buy it by the crate load. I don't buy it often because I know I'll smash the entire crate
Yeah.
in under 2 weeks.
And then the problem becomes, oh boy, I've ingested a lot of energy drinks.
Nah, I don't really have that problem.
Really?
Years of being a tea tester have made me nine sensitive to caffeine.
Oh, that's fair. I guess yeah, if there's not as many sugar additives, then you don't have the sugar additives issue that you'd usually be presented with.
Yeah, it has all the other stuff like taurine and shit like that, but the primary
Yeah,
stimulant,
that's
yeah, the primary stimulant is still caffeine, and I am just numb to it at this point. I can
yeah.
smash 2 cans of Red Bull and just go to sleep.
I've done that, but I'm definitely not built the same as you. I've tried it and woken up.
It's not an issue of being built a certain way. It's just an issue of
Oh no,
it's
it's
purely an issue
tolerance.
of overexposure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is that rather thankfully, I haven't been that overexposed yet.
Yeah.
Where if I drink a can, if I shotgun a can of Red Bull and then I go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up and feel like shit.
Yeah, it means you're still reacting to it as intended.
Yeah, just my body telling me I probably shouldn't be ingesting Red Bull before going to sleep.
That's a very fair point. Do you generally try to, design do you have a supplement intake protocol that you try to follow?
I used to, but I fell out of it really hard, and I just never really picked it back up. Actually,
What was the protocol?
standard multivitamin, making sure I get enough protein.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things like having go-to options for certain meals, or
Well, meals are separate from supplements, I guess, because
okay,
here, yeah,
okay,
you're supplementing whatever you're missing in your standard diet.
ah,
Yeah.
I did used to have to take iron supplements, but that was about
Mm-hmm.
it. But that was like out of clinical necessity, not bodily health and
I see. I see.
proactivity.
I used to take a multivitamin that was like designed for athletes, quote unquote,
Yeah,
for your commercial consumer athlete as opposed to real athlete. And it was a what was it? It was a Muscle Farm brand, but it was their line that they co-licensed with Arnold that was always called like
yeah,
Iron something. So this one was fuck, what was it called? Iron Health, or some shit like that. It came in a very convenient like little package because it was dosed
yeah.
per day. So you like take
Okay,
yeah, you would just take a satchel and you just take everything in the satchel once a day, and it's very convenient. Um,
yeah.
and I remember a very funny side effect of that because it turned my piss bright neon green, as you as any excess of vitamins that's not dangerous to you would.
Yeah, any water soluble vitamin that your body
Yes.
can just dispose of anytime it doesn't need it.
But it was funny.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's you're paying lots of money to have really funny piss colors.
Listen, I was entertained. I maintained that I got my money's worth.
Oh, absolutely. If the piss is entertainment enough, then that's your money right there.
There you go. The whey protein was also very good. For some reason, every whey protein I like suddenly just stops existing any longer.
Vanishes.
It just vanishes. My first one was Premium Whey by Weeder,
Okay.
specifically the chocolate nugget flavor. And there you go. Fucking Weeder went through two bankruptcies, and they no longer make that particular protein blend. I think they made
Hmm.
vegan proteins for a while, then they were bought up by some Indian pharmaceutical company, and
Yeah.
they still sort of make, I think they make soy protein or some shit like that now. I'm not interested in that, nor do they make anything with chocolate nuggets, so fuck them. And
Damn. Yeah. You know what? Honestly, fair enough.
yeah. Muscle Farm had that another line that they also co-branded with Arnold that they called the Iron Way, which had a very similar palette, and that also disappeared because they had. I think the rumor was that they had like a royalties dispute with Schwarzenegger over the line, and there you go. I guess I just don't get to have nice things. So now
Yeah. No.
I'm
Fuck
relegated.
you, I guess.
Exactly, fuck me. I'm relegated to drinking the fucking slop that is unflavored casein.
There was a. Oh god, I think it was. There was some whey protein recall in Canada many years back. And I
Okay.
remember this was like right around the time that I was starting to like learn and understand the benefits of whey and like what it was. And I remember it was just there was some additive in it that could just give you a heart attack. And I remember thinking, how did they not pass this? Or like how did they not catch this before distributing it?
I assume it went through the FDA channel for supplements, which is not very rigorous, and
Fair enough.
then Canada just said, "Oh yeah, it's FDA approved for over the counter."
Which means we can use it, of course,
Yeah, there you go.
as it tends to go.
Yeah. It's like ashwagandha is just freely available in drugstores. Like you can go to your local CVS and just buy a bottle of ashwagandha. And I think 1 in 10 people has a genetic predisposition to just have spontaneous liver failure if they're on ashwagandha.
Oh, oh, that's lots of fun.
Yeah.
Man, that's a fun game to play if you're ever really bored. What happens if I consume ashwagandha?
Well, you need to go through a course of it. You need to really commit to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can technically play a very protracted game of Russian roulette with it.
Yeah, that's slow, funny. Would be a little bit of a surprise. You wake up one day and your liver is no longer functioning, or
Yeah,
you just don't wake up because your liver has failed.
it actually it failed. So the onset of that sudden liver failure is so fast that you just can't do anything after you're symptomatic. That's fucking it. That's
Oh
game over.
god. you just you just know your time's limited. You're fucking dead.
That feeling when every roll you make in D&D is just a one.
Yeah. And you're like, it's time to throw in the towel, isn't it?
I see how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, good times, good times. It's especially funny because at the time people were really hyping up anything that's a herbal supplement for tea, which one of the
Yeah.
uses for ashwagandha is to raise your serum testosterone because it suppresses cortisol. Cortisol is an agonist of testosterone, so technically yes, like it does the thing, but you also have that, and
Yeah,
yeah.
sudden liver failure.
Yeah, yeah. So usually, I think the recommendation is to not stay on it. So the course should be limited with like a month of taking ashwagandha, even if you're not in the focus group for those very special lucky winners.
Yeah. Lucky winners, yes. They get out early.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So what have you been up to recently? I've seen you do a what I would call an innovative cam stream, or rather a hand cam stream with your brand new leap motion.
Brand new that I've had sitting in the box for like a month because I needed to wait on a gazillion other parts to come in. But yeah, yeah,
Listen,
innovative. Maybe.
it was mint condition the moment you opened it, okay? It's
Exactly.
still
Yeah.
brand new.
Basically.
Yeah.
You see the difference being that they've come down about $100 in price
Ah.
from whatever I paid.
Oh.
So there was that little bit of like,
Hmm.
if I had just waited.
Especially given the inflation of the dollar.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But honestly, even knowing I paid roughly 300 Canadian
Hmm.
at the time of buying, or 400, I don't know, I don't remember, but it was a lot more than what you would pay now.
I think you said three.
Yeah, three or four. It might have been four after import and shit. I might have been an idiot who imported it through America instead of buying it through a Canadian distributor because I don't
Ah,
think they were available at the time.
I
That might have
see.
been my clinical error.
So
But
so you would have to, so if you buy something off of American Amazon, are you then on the hook to pay import fees and shit like that?
oh, absolutely. There's a
God,
gazillion taxes and import fees in Canada.
how very European of you.
Yes. I guarantee you the tax and import fees on that camera would probably be about $30 to $40 minimum. Just because it's like specialist tech hardware.
It's very funny how you how you typically technically were emancipated from the crown and then just did that to yourselves.
Yeah, we were just like, now that we're free from the crown, we can do whatever we want. What's the first thing we're gonna do?
Let's
I
impose
think we should
import
do the
fees.
exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do the exact thing that we just tried to be emancipated to avoid.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Great idea.
our neighbor down to the south just fought a bloody civil war over this exact thing. Let's do that to ourselves.
Yeah. Let's just let's just not.
Yeah. That's funny to me. I had to send a package of like just little small knickknacks to Europe recently, and they had the same thing. Fortunately, at the very
Yeah.
least, I wasn't on the hook for paying the import fees, but it wasn't like I was sending, samples of merchandise or something like that. It was literally like a box of candy, well, a fine mixed box of candy,
Yeah.
um, some fucking athletic supporters for your joint support,
Yeah.
and I think like a charm from a Japanese temple,
Okay.
and they slapped that with an import fee.
Yeah.
That's wild to
Any
me.
box from overseas.
Holy shit. I constantly buy things from overseas. I buy my matcha from Japan directly just off of Amazon because
Yeah.
it is cheaper. I get cheaper matcha of a significantly higher grade by buying it off of Japanese Amazon and having it imported.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's generally how it goes where half the time for such specialty products, or I wouldn't even call it specialty unless you want to make a really bad pun, but such like kind of niche products end up
Hmm.
being better to just get from like the distributor themselves if they have consumer access.
Yeah, I'm not getting it from a distributor. I'm getting it from a retail store on Amazon. It's not a
Oh,
direct to
weird.
yeah, it's not a direct to consumer thing. It's just that
Hmm.
matcha is a more commonplace household item, even high-end
Yeah.
matcha in Japan. It's not specialty at all. Like you'll just
Yeah,
have
so it's
yeah.
it's just not.
Yeah. If you're from a higher end family, you'll just consume matcha as part of your like daily life anyway. Um, but so I live near an agglomeration of like Asian stores because
Yeah.
we have a high concentration of Korean and Japanese expats in Austin,
Okay.
and for some reason the matcha is very shit. It's very shit and it's very expensive. Like I found a passable matcha that's like it's just good enough to at least use for the caffeine kick, and I don't feel
Yeah.
bad when I mix it into what I call my psycho drink.
Oh boy, please do tell. What is the
Oh,
psycho drink?
it's actually nothing too out of the ordinary. I fill a bottle with water. I put my Pocari Sweat in it, and then I just add like 4 scoops of matcha into it. So it has both
Okay.
electrolytes and caffeine for me. And I just use that as an inter-workout drink.
Okay, so see, in my family,
Hmm.
I have two brothers, biological. The family tree gets way fucked up when you go any other direction,
Yeah, many such
generally
cases.
up. But at any rate, all three of us, particularly like I'm the youngest,
Hmm.
myself in the middle, had both made the exact same mistake of unintentionally manufacturing lean in our stomachs.
uh,
Now this was back in the days of mandated education, so public, and it was great. We were like we'd walk, and if we'd walk, it would be like a 40-minute walk. So we both had identical days in two very different instances, like a year apart.
Uh-huh.
And we would wake up, we felt like shit, and we were like, okay, what would our family do? We're home alone, we need to get to school.
Uh-huh.
Well, the NyQuil branch of products does the trick.
Yes. Famously.
Forgetting that NyQuil is intended to put you to bed as well.
Well, yeah, sort of. Like it famously contains codeine. It is technically what? It's an opiate.
Yeah, but it's like it's not enough to be a controlled substance, so you can just buy it.
Yeah.
But it still contains codeine.
Sure.
And so, being the wise and clear judgment of sick individuals who are going through puberty in the midst of stressful high school with absolutely zero preservation of self, we would take whatever the quantity of the bottle was and drink it.
Just the entire bottle?
Usually about 2/3, 3/4.
Wait, but doesn't lean require that you add like some sort of spirit base to it?
Oh no, you need stimulants.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware of the correct way of manufacturing lean.
This is what I've been told was lean, so it could be off, it could be half lean, it could be lean cubed, I wouldn't know.
I see.
But anyways, so then we walk our 40-minute trek to school.
Oh wait, never mind.
Uphill, so it kind of sucked.
Wait, I forgot. It should contain some amount of spirit, just inherently, like Listerine does.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Not like distilled alcohol, but regardless, tastes like shit.
I guess
40 minutes gives it enough time to get down, to circulate, to begin circulating. You're starting to feel the NyQuil part of the NyQuil, or the nighttime. And you're starting to feel really drowsy. Now, this was also at the time where we thought I, in particular, had suffered from non-cataplectic narcolepsy. So anytime I was drowsy, for my brother it was, I'm going to go to the convenience store one door down from my school and buy an energy drink. For me, it was 2 5-hour energies mixed into a monster.
Okay.
Which is important because the concentration of caffeine and other ingredients is stimulants to non-stimulant part of the liquid, right? 5-hour energy is proportionately much more stimulant than it is anything else.
Yes.
At least relative to other energy drinks. So for me, it was drinking more than the daily allowance of 5-hour energies in Canada.
Okay.
Plus an energy drink, and you weren't allowed to have drinks in the school we were attending. So it was down all of them as fast as you can. So it was basically mix them together and then shotgun the energy drink.
Wait, what do you mean?
The psycho drink.
Can you wait, hold the fuck up. What do you mean you weren't allowed drinks in the school? Like, were you not allowed to have any beverage on you in school?
No. Sorry, like canned beverages. There was a precedent set that students cannot be trusted with anything that would cause the floors to become sticky. Because they will drop it, they will spill it. It had to, like, explicitly be a bottled container, like a reusable water bottle or something.
It needs to be something that closes.
Yeah, exactly. It had to close, and it couldn't be made of glass.
I see, because you can't close a glass bottle.
Well, you can, but if you drop it, it shatters, right?
Yeah. That is very European longhouse of them.
Yeah. And so we came up with our time warp tonic.
There's another thing that I used to affectionately call psycho juice. It's just regular dodecamine. It's a brand of energy drink that is sold by, I forget the manufacturer, but it's just a Japanese retail energy drink that I really like.
Yeah.
And when I first bought it, I didn't realize it's an energy drink. And it had no effect on me. But I observed another person take it and just get the zoomies, so to speak. Yeah, and I could just down 2 of them and go to bed because, well, again, complete caffeine insensitivity.
Caffeine tolerance.
Yeah. And then I read the ingredient label and I'm like, holy shit, this is the whole pharmacy. This has like a daily standard, like a consumption limit of caffeine in a single can. It has taurine,
Yeah.
it has all of the shit, L-theanine, just to make sure that it stays in your system proper, and doesn't metabolize fast enough to you for you to get the downers.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will tell you, NyQuil and 3 energy drinks will make you feel like you've hit the wait button in Skyrim.
I can see it. I had a very interesting experience once. So, I am ordained, for lack of a better term, in traditional Japanese tea ceremony. It's a part of
Yeah.
the curriculum that I had to learn at some point,
Okay.
and I did that as part of a little sect-like organization, which was sort of it melded together the dojo in which I trained, and we had
Yeah.
a tea room that was managed by our tea ceremony instructor. And so
Okay.
my Iaido instructor also learned tea ceremony from the same tea ceremony instructor, which is like within the line of progression and succession, I was therefore also supposed to learn tea ceremony
Yeah.
there. And as part of learning tea ceremony, you're supposed to learn both the host etiquette and there's also a separate guest etiquette. And as part of that practice, I was a guest during a practice session of my sword instructor, and
Yeah.
he was making what's referred to as koicha, literally translated as thick tea, which is an old style of preparing matcha.
Yeah.
Because matcha that's more colloquially known is it's like a lightly frothed matcha.
Okay.
It's like a lightly frothed drink, rather. Koicha is something with the consistency of hot chocolate. So what you do is you take, if I recall correctly, 4 measures of matcha. You add a
Yeah.
little bit of water just to create a paste of it, and the paste is actually being drunk. So
Ah.
yes, and while
Oh.
while preparing the tea for me, he he put I'm trying to remember. I think he put like double the norm. Oh, so essentially, what you do in a koicha preparation, you're supposed to share the same cup of tea between at least 3 people.
Okay.
So he put the entire dose that you would split between 3 people into the bowl, and I was
Ah.
the only one there.
Yes.
And at the time, I wasn't high up enough in my skill tree to develop caffeine insensitivity, and I had to shotgun the entire bowl that's intended for like 3 grown men. And I could feel time dilate at that particular moment.
Yeah. It
uh,
hits you and you're like, uh-oh. I
y-
can feel the clock within me ticking.
yes, yes. It wasn't so bad that I could hear my heart rate, but I could understand the concept of bullet time in real life.
Oh yeah, it's a mesmerizing experience enough that I never actually put together what I had done
Hmm.
because I wasn't quite lucid enough to understand what was going on. But I had the gall to try it again at a different time, much to the same results. And that was when I came to the realization that I probably shouldn't be mixing NyQuil with energy drinks.
That's a fairly safe assumption to make, yeah.
Well, I mean, the second time I did it, there's non-lucidity, and then there's suddenly you are now lucid and you're in a pool and you have no idea how you got here. Now, it's at the time the pool was a regular part of my schedule. I was doing
Uh-huh.
a fitness regime,
Oh, so you just
but I was not at the pool when I started.
so you just autopiloted down through your itinerary,
Yes.
which is, you know what? You got to the place where you were supposed to be. I'd say that's a win.
Problem is that there's nothing between that I could recollect of what happened, so I had no idea if I went straight to the pool or if I was there at the right time or if I had actually attended my classes or if I was even in the school building. I just know dive reflex kicked in when I hit the water and I was like, "Oh, I am now suddenly lucid."
uh, yeah, see that good mammalian heritage hit it at the right time.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm looking into building a cold plunge. Well, building or buying one, I need to look into it. There's a couple of ridiculous spending items that I'm looking at. And now on top of that, since it turns out I owe money to the federal government, yippee.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I made the questionable choice of actually doing my taxes this year, expecting a carrot in the form of around $1,000, which is usually my refund. And
Yeah, that'd be nice.
yeah, no, turns out I owe about as much. So, that's great.
Damn.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, that's like,
yeah. I haven't moved tax brackets or anything like that. It was just entirely an HR issue. They tried to
yeah.
optimize my tax payouts and they kind of over optimized that a little bit. Which you know what? I
Damn.
look at it as I just borrowed a lot of money from the federal government with a no interest loan. With the except
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. That's interest-free money.
yeah, exactly. Well, I sort of pay something like interest on it. The $50 penalty that that I accrued
Ah,
for some reason, even though I'm not the party responsible for paying my
yeah,
taxes for deducting them. But
that's how it goes.
yeah, I mean, listen, if anything, it strengthened my identity as a born again Texan. I felt a strong pull towards going down to Eagle Pass and staging a false flag event by shooting one of the feds and finally triggering a secession crisis because
Yeah,
because they can't collect federal tax returns. They can't collect federal income tax from me if Texas secedes.
exactly. If it stops being a federal government, or
Yeah,
rather a body of the federal government,
yeah,
then they
exactly.
stop collecting the federal taxes on the citizens.
Yeah. It's actually funny because I've had people call me several times because apparently the whole Texas border thing got into the news and it got like into the sensational fuck, I can't speak. Into the bullshit part of Russian news specifically.
Ah,
And I had people from Russia that I know call me or write me up, "Hey, like are you guys like having a civil war there? What the fuck is shit hitting the fan?" To which I just had to respond with, Unfortunately not. We're not going to storm Washington D.C. just yet."
damn, not yet.
Me and the boys are very upset. We were ready. We were ready to cook.
Oh God. God, I can't remember the last time Canada had anything even remotely like that. I mean, I guess there was that like trucker rally, which was hardly worth mentioning.
Here's the thing. The trucker rally was a bigger thing than the Texas border thing actually is.
Ah,
Because well, it's a nothing burger. It's literally nothing
yeah,
happens there. That's what's making it funny, because nothing happened. Texas pushed the feds out, reinforced the border. The feds said, "Well, you can't do that." To which the Texas governor said, "The fuck I can," and that's about it.
fair enough.
There was like a back and forth, like, "Oh, you have 24 hours to surrender this area back to Border Patrol," to which Texas said, "No, cry about it."
No, I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't think I will, and that's it.
Nice.
That's
Nothing wrong
literally
with
it.
that, I guess. All is well that ends well.
Yeah, to be fair, we did have some outside help, because I think Ohio and Florida sent their National Guard to reinforce ours.
Oh wow.
And 25 other states like made statements, yeah, we support Texas in doing so because like they have a legal right to do so under their constitution and under the federal constitution, so they're in the right.
Yeah.
So whoever was about to make the call of maybe we want to call up the F-15s was probably served a notice. So there's an air base in Texas, and
Yeah.
Boeing and Lockheed Martin are also there, and the Texas National Guard has Bradleys. So and they also own like half of the guns in the country. So maybe let's don't.
Let's maybe not
Yeah,
tempt them to own those. To not recall their provisions.
yeah. So that was funny. That was funny in the moment. But I think that's
Oh,
pretty
I
much
mean, I can
blown
imagine.
over. Yeah. I enjoyed the compliment that we as Texans have received from Count Dankula, if you know who that is.
No, I know of the name. I haven't followed anything about him.
He's essentially a YouTuber. He's just now in the niche of making semi-historical videos. He calls those Mad Lads. And
Okay.
yeah, he makes very funny Twitter bait occasionally.
Ah.
So when Roe v. Wade was repealed, he renamed his account into Justice Dankula and had someone Photoshop a photo of him being on the American Supreme Court.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yes, and it was extremely funny. Like people were taking the bait left and right. So yeah.
Dude, Twitter always gets me. I had to stop and process that there for a second that people actually took that bait.
Yes.
It's just like, come on, guys.
Yes. Yeah, I had that happen multiple times. So I made a post once that said like something to the effect of no one needs a weapon of war with like an AR. Oh, this is a round fire out of an AR-15 and no one needs a weapon of war, and it's a video of a car just flying into a house. And I shit you not, there were people in my replies angry at me.
Like going nuts.
Yes, calling me a
Oh,
gun grabber. And I'm like, Habibi, pay attention to the fucking video. Look very closely.
that is not a gun.
That is not
That is a fucking motor vehicle.
exactly.
At that point, anything's a weapon of war if you fashion it to be so.
Well, technically,
A la Killdozer.
yeah, technically it is. Yeah, yeah. As the Killdozer is. There was recently a mini Killdozer, like the Killdozer we have at home.
Yeah, I heard about that. I only heard that it existed, though.
No. In the sense that someone got into a Bobcat and like thrashed some cars in the I think it was a Home Depot parking
Okay.
lot, something like that. Yeah, I think it ended pretty peacefully. Like he wrecked some cars and the cops I think fired some shots, but they ended up not hitting him and the guy just got out of the thing and surrendered.
Yeah.
So overall uneventful, not as based as the original Killdozer.
Yeah. I don't think anything will ever top that, though.
Yeah, it is a shame how it ended. I think he would have been out of jail by now, and the man would have been a folk hero.
But that's how it goes, right?
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
shame. That's a shame. Sometimes reasonable men are pushed to do unreasonable things, or rather, in the face of
exactly.
injustice, fuck it. I'm not going to try to code it correctly.
Sometimes good people do bad things.
I wouldn't even
Or maybe
call
not
it
even
bad.
bad.
Not even bad. Here's the thing. That he produced zero casualties. He only damaged
Yeah.
property of people who maliciously hurt him
Yeah.
in like extremely corrupt and abusive ways.
Yeah, no, that's not even bad things, but
Yeah.
bad things just as the catch-all term for things that people tell you not to do.
It's a disagreeable thing for sure. Like
Yes,
that's not a socially
that's the word.
acceptable way of mediating conflict, but to be fair,
No.
he was deprived of every socially acceptable way of mediating that one. Like he was put in a position where that's his only recourse that was left. That's
Yeah, his only
yeah.
real recourse
Yeah.
was
For the same reason, I, for example, don't really cast judgment on the Abe shooter. I know, hot take.
I don't know the scenario. I just know that he had a little DIY Shinzo shredder. That's the extent of my knowledge on the situation.
Uh, fuck, that's what I'm calling it from now on.
Yeah, listen, he had built his own PVC pipe Shinzo shredder.
Yeah, I don't think it was PVC pipe. I think he was.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm not sure. I think he used aluminum pipes. Like he used plumbing pipes.
Okay,
Well, because PVC wouldn't be able to contain that explosion.
that's true.
Even if it's low pressure, it still would have blown out PVC pipes. That is so good. I do have.
Well, you know, PVC wasn't the only thing it blew out, but to the extent it needed to.
Yeah. So here's I have an Aho Works patch with that says DIY and it has like the
Yeah.
the Shinzo shredder.
Oh my god.
I
Hell
am
yeah.
I am using that name for going forward.
It's great. It's great.
It has a ring to it. It just fits. But the thing is, so despite the fact that I like a lot of Abe's policies, I liked his stance. I think that he was a very good figurehead for, that cautious Japanese nationalism, them
Yeah.
reinvigorating their military, because you know what? It's kind of nice when your satellite state also has a standalone military and doesn't entirely depend on your Pacific Fleet.
Exactly.
So the reason for the shooting was the fact that the guys, I forget his name actually now, but his family was essentially driven into complete misery and bankruptcy by the Moonies, which is a South Korean religious cult.
Yeah, you know what? I can't say I'm surprised it went there.
Yeah, and Abe's family is unfortunately known for abating the Moonies and generally exchanging influence with them. To the extent that
Ah, okay.
Abe personally, his father and grandfather were involved with them. They were never Mooney members, but they had connections with
Yeah.
Moonies, and in that line of succession, Abe also assisted and abated them. So I mean, it
Yeah, he just kind of fell. You know what? Knowing that, you almost can't blame the guy. It just seems to be the logical next choice if you have to pick someone related. Pick the guy who's in power.
not only that, he passed up on several occasions where he could have attacked the Moonies directly, but there would have been collateral damage, and he decided not to. So
Okay, well, you know
he
what?
made
That commands a little respect.
he made a very decisive choice to not get like unrelated people involved. So I respect
Yeah.
that. This
Yeah,
if
no, I can respect that.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, so the story was the following: like he came from a fairly wealthy family because his grandparents owned either a construction company, I think it was a construction company, so like a construction developer, not obscenely wealthy, but wealthy enough. And
Yeah, not like Chable, literally immortal tier.
yeah, but still reasonably wealthy family, owned real estate, things of that nature. Like very good,
Yeah.
very well positioned for generational wealth. So
Oh yeah.
his and that the company was owned by his maternal grandfather, and his father was sort of co-managing and co-CEOing that whole thing.
Yeah.
And his father, if I recall correctly, passed away. I don't remember why. So, and his mother, in her grief, sort of, I assume, sought shelter in religion and ended up in the Moonies cult.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That sort of pipeline.
and the sales pipeline for Moonies is to essentially just bleed your family of money, which they did
Yeah.
because she started selling off assets. Then her father died, and then she essentially gradually sold off all of the inheritance, bankrupted the company, and like they were just made completely fucking destitute as a family. Um,
Yeah.
I believe they drove his younger brother to suicide, if I recall correctly.
Jesus.
Yeah, and so like he's just there, so his mother is in the Moonies. Essentially, they've just gutted their family with no fucking recourse because what the fuck are you gonna? You're gonna go to the police? Well, the papers show you gave the money willingly. She is the custodian
Yeah.
of the entire estate. She can legally do that, and unfortunately, it's not a crime to bamboozle gullible people.
No, it's not. It might be morally wrong to prey on somebody's like grief and sorrow in that way, but it doesn't make it legally reprehensible.
Yeah, unfortunately not. You could make the argument that technically it's fraud because they're selling a certain bill of goods here. Like you donate to us and you leverage that into good karma and like some
Yeah.
esoteric unmeasurable bullshit, and I would label that as fraud like very
But the
easily.
problem is how do you prove that?
Well, what do you mean how do you prove that? You prove that by lack thereof. Is there a measurable
Fair
improvement of
enough.
your karma? Is there a karma meter I can use? Can I measure your thetans? No? Well, fuck. There you go. Into the
Your good
slam.
boy points are null.
Yeah, exactly. Into the fucking slammer you go. At least in my book. But essentially, yeah,
Yeah.
it turned into a situation where like his family was just gutted, completely fucking obliterated. And he was trying to target the head of the Mooney Church when he visited Japan. He tried to.
Yeah.
He was originally planning, I think, to use an IED to hit him or a Molotov cocktail, but he couldn't because he still had ins to the Moonies through his, well, like he was technically a member of the organization.
Yeah.
He attempted to like squirrel into events, but like the
Yeah.
structure that was available to him, it always ended up with collateral damage being possible. So he steered away from that. And then the only avenue that was available to him, okay, here's Shinzo Abe, who's like frequently associated with the Moonies. So he made smokeless gunpowder, constructed a shotgun, and he carried out a
Did his
political
thing.
assassination. Yeah, and you know what? He took vengeance on someone who is culpable in the objective wrongs that were caused to him. And you know what? I maintain that based
Yeah, you know what? It it sucks that it was somebody who
was
wasn't.
good otherwise. Like he did other good
Yeah,
things, but it sucks to suck.
exactly. I mean, that's kind of the nature of political. You can't be all good politically. That's simply not possible.
Well, also there's degrees of it. You know what? You can have correct
Yeah.
decisions, and you also probably should have the standalone wherewithal to look at a cult like the Moonies and go like, no, 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 fuck these people in particular. Like, no,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't want anything to do with these people.
I don't want
Unfortunately,
these people to make my life hell.
yeah, I don't want these people to cause me to be shot by a fucking DIY shotgun, which is
What?
probably not an
That's how it
eventuality.
goes.
Yeah, that's how it fucking
Yeah.
goes. You know what? He fucked around, and boy, oh boy, golly, did he find out.
Yeah. Listen, the spot his metaphorical life pachinko ball landed in was unfortunately the DIY shotgun blast.
It's especially funny since it shot ball bearings, which are essentially pachinko balls.
How how perfect.
uh, how poetic indeed. Oh
Yeah.
boy. So where were we? Politic
Pachinko balls.
pachinko balls. Pachinko is a
Yeah.
fascinating industry. They're allegedly being choked out by regulations. The Japanese government is very unkind to them, I assume, as part of their push to slowly choke out any sort of organized crime because pachinko is notoriously connected to Korean mafias.
Interesting.
Yes, but simultaneously, it's also one of the largest earners in Japanese media businesses.
Yeah, I mean, basically any multimedia corporate that stems from Japan, which produces like interactive entertainment of literally any variety, and I don't just mean like
Hmm.
video games, but video games in particular are easy example.
Yeah,
They probably have a pachinko machine of it.
yeah, exactly. They do. Even Jellin used to be a very popular pachinko style. Well, essentially, it's like a slot machine with some sort of
Yeah.
video and additional elements that are decorative. I've seen Fist of the North Star pachinko machines. Oh, not actual machines. I've seen like outside outdoor promos of them because I don't know.
Yeah.
Pachinko parlors are very unappealing to me, among other reasons. Because they're extremely loud. Like I passed a pachinko parlor that was in a shopping street when the
Yeah.
doors just slightly opened, and it sounds like hell.
Yeah. I do know one notable example of awful practice that ended up being tied to pachinko.
Hmm.
And I mean awful like as a consumer of a particular IP, but the Guilty Gear IP notoriously has an entire installment in its storyline that is lost media because it was exclusive to a pachinko machine
Yeah,
and never made it out.
yeah. Same for Tekken. Tekken also has these obscure cutscenes that were made only for pachinko machines.
Yeah, it's
It makes
frustrating.
it makes sense from a licensing perspective because
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, well, because any sort of physical machine, I know that because I used to work with arcade operators. So they
Okay.
want a unique draw to the physical machine because they need to draw their
Yeah,
consumers out. Like they need to get in order to get them into the pipeline, they need to give them a reason to physically reach their location.
exactly. They need some sort of stimulus, and what better way to get unsuspecting people into pachinko other than by leveraging an IP that they already know and love, right?
Well, not only that, like they know and love the IP, and there's going to be content that is novel and that is exclusive,
Yeah,
and that's why the pachinko parlors usually pay a premium for that particular slice of content to be exclusive to them. Like they license it out completely and forever for it to never be distributed elsewhere.
my understanding that was specifically the Guilty Gear pachinko slots was intended to have a port of some variety, but it fell through, presumably due to those licensing issues.
I would be interested. What would be the port? Like, where would they port that game? It's usually just
I have no
cutscenes.
idea. Yeah, that was apparently there was some sort of iOS
Hmm.
retooling of it,
Hmm.
but
I
I don't
think
know, man.
I would assume someone just managed to scalp the footage, and that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Unfortunately, I've never been able to find footage of it myself, but
Yeah, well, that's how it is. I think they've, at the very least, they forced pachinko parlors out of like big shopping streets, which I think is an improvement.
yeah.
Like, I would rather that place be a restaurant or an actual store than
Yeah, of course.
a
Than
gambling
just like
den.
another gambling den.
Yeah, yeah. That also, it sounds like a migraine feels.
Yeah. Listen, I've been to casinos very few times in my life, but
Casinos are different.
every time I've been, yeah, it's a different kind, but it's of
Mm-hmm.
the same ilk, I'd guess.
Mm, it's very interesting to people watching casinos. I sometimes go to Vegas, fortunately, mostly for work. That's why my expenses are
Yeah.
usually not out of pocket. So at the very least, that is offset because I would never pay my own money to go to Vegas because I have very little to do there. Especially
Yeah, that
now.
just sounds like a
Well, here's the thing.
black hole.
It's not that it's a black hole. Like, it's a very fascinating experiment because it's essentially a city made of plywood that just prints money,
Yeah.
despite the fact that it's like taxed ludicrously. It's a gigantic source of tax money. I understand that it contributes to GDP, but it's fascinating. Like, it's held together with duct tape and spit. It
Yeah.
is a city that is so utterly fake, and yet it generates gigantic cash flows. It just wills them into existence. That part I find fascinating.
Well, that's like the short-term games, long-term instability, right? But
No,
just infinite.
it's well, it's like, yeah, it's essentially how should I explain it? It generates enough money to constantly maintain that supposedly flimsy facade. If you so do you know the phrase Potemkin village?
I'm acquainted with it, but you'll have to refresh me on it.
So a Potemkin village essentially is like a show village that is constructed um, to manufacture a facade of a real settlement. It was used for
Okay.
in order to present that to Soviet leaders when they wanted to show them an exemplary settlement, and so they would build it
Yeah.
out of essentially plywood, populate it with I wouldn't say paid actors because who the fuck is getting paid in the Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Very compelling. Face the wall now. That's your bonus.
Yeah.
But they would essentially just staff it with people who would make it look like they're just organically there, like they're working on production lines or they're just going
Yeah,
about their
doing their
day.
thing.
Yeah, and once the show was over, they just disassemble the entire fucking thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a Potemkin village, and Las Vegas gives that impression very incessantly, despite the fact that like half of the strip is made of pure marble.
Yeah.
So that's very fascinating, and I understand the draw of it for some people. Uh, I'm gonna throw shade because I think those are very unsophisticated things to like, despite the fact that I like some of those things. But like,
Yeah.
I live in Texas. It I can shoot guns here. I don't need like Vegas shooting ranges, despite the fact that they
Yeah.
have interesting things like they have shoot houses with simunition. The only drawback is that you need other people to participate in that, and like that's where it gets a little bit difficult trying to organize people into a pastime like that. Um,
Yeah.
Other guns I can just shoot here easier and cheaper. Other than that, I don't gamble with my own money. I don't whore, and I'm not a big fan of strip clubs. And what else? And I can watch Cirque du Soleil in Florida. So there you go. they
Fair enough.
they ran out of things for me to want.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We don't have much of a I I har- I stutter to even say we have much going on as a culture in Canada. Realistically speaking, I mean, there's no real we've got like Forgive me a moment here while I struggle to contemplate what Canadians actually do day to day for entertainment.
I assume you play hockey.
Not me personally, I can tell you that much. The country fucking loves it, but me? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it.
Yeah, sports ball is
Oh,
rough for
my
me.
favorite.
Yeah, I cannot abide. I just cannot. It's torturous for me to watch, especially team sports. I'll watch combat sports, sure. Mostly because
Yeah,
I try to pretend or imagine that at the very least I can learn something applicable to my own practice from what I'm looking at.
that's fair.
Or you know what, sumo is at the very least a spectacle.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, at the worst, any combat sport is a spectacle.
Yeah, yeah, more so than, just fucking 22 retards running around chasing a ball.
Yeah,
While
it's
also
amazing how
Yeah, while also simultaneously doing irreparable damage to their ACLs.
yeah. Listen, man, there's nothing better than the domestic violence on soccer night statistics of Britain. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but that's where the spectacle comes in. Because you see, it becomes a combat sport only after the match ends.
Yeah. You know what? Surprisingly, I think Britain would be better off with roving gangs of soccer hooligans. Just given the current state of the UK, like
Yeah.
every time I see news from the UK, like I just my brain just defaults to it's not a real place.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, despite the fact that I've lived there for something approximating a year, I just refuse to believe that it's a real place.
I feel like looking at Britain, I say this as a Canadian, so point and laugh, but whenever I look at Britain, I feel like I'm reading the passage at the beginning of a media that says this is a work of fiction. All persons and personalities portrayed within are fictional, even if other like
Yeah.
any resemblance is coincidental. Like, they managed to turn that into an entire country.
UK news does read like an Onion article.
It does.
I think there were Onion articles that just turned into real news articles. Although to be fair, we do get that in the States a lot. So, I guess
Well,
point and laugh as well. That's still kind of applicable.
I guess we can all just laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
The key is to take it with a good step of a good mock's worth of salt.
Yeah. What was the one I liked? There was some fucking subsection of the Metro Police was reporting on how they've performed a sweep against offensive weapons, and they collected things like butter knives and like gardening tools and other things that they
Oh
found vaguely
wow.
threatening. Yeah. But stop and search.
Wow.
That's a no-no. We can't do that.
We can't stop people and make sure they're not armed with actual weapons, even though that's you know a festering issue in the UK. But butter knives and backyard trowels and whatnot are those are scary. You can't have those.
Zombie knives. Zombie knives are my fucking
Exactly,
favorite.
exactly.
I saw a clip not too terribly long ago about some British radio host complaining about the fact that he was able to buy a shitty Chinese machete on the internet and have it delivered to his door.
Wow,
Yeah.
modern day conveniences.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. If that machete had any bright colors on it or any verbiage indicating that it is made for any kind of violent intent, that machete would have instantly been rendered illegal to own. The machete is still
Exactly.
it's still illegal to carry on yourself outside of your home,
Yeah.
but it's legal to own it indoors. And they were having a real problem with it.
Yeah, they're having a real. They got their fucking knickers in a knot. They got their tittles in a tussle, as British people do.
Yeah. And he was commenting like it's the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. And I was watching that video as I was mounting a weapon light on my primary rifle.
Oh God.
That was poetic. Just the British mind cannot
Yeah.
comprehend.
Watching the feeble British man cower in fear at the prospect of owning a knife while putting weapon lights on your favorite rifle.
Yeah. A rifle that's an almost identical copy to like the new service weapon that fucking US SOCOM uses as well.
Oh my god.
Well, listen, I
Listen, that's just
yeah. He was your comment about him being a feeble man is also on the spot. Like he is the stereotypical limp-wristed Londoner that you would expect to make that commentary. Like
yeah.
you can see him be visibly deterred by a stiff wind if he's out trying to walk.
Damn.
It's one
Listen,
of those
that's
guys that goes to a checkup and then suddenly, to no one's surprise, he turns out to have the testosterone level of a 12-year-old girl.
it's not real people at that point. It's what was I gonna say? I had some punchline in my head. Oh yes, it's American ASMR, the wails of the feeble British Londoner.
Well, it's Texan ASMR because plenty
True.
we have plenty of people like that evenly sprinkled around the coast.
Oh yeah, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, we do have our own version of London. It's called LA and San Francisco.
Damn.
Although to be fair, we do still have more incidents of just people shitting in the street and less incidents of acid attacks. So they're still catching up to that one.
You know what? I think I would take people shitting in the streets over acid attacks
Yeah,
at least.
same.
Like in a measurable quantity more.
To be fair, it doesn't really stop petty crimes and muggings. There was a CEO of a very prominent company who moved out of California. I think he was the CEO of Square, the founder and CEO of Square, and
Okay.
co-founder rather. So what happened was he moved out of San Francisco. I think he moved to I don't remember where he moved. He moved out of state because it's
You fucking move somewhere.
yeah, he moved out of California. Many such cases. Then so he came back to San Francisco because he had a business meeting or something he needed to get from the apartment he was vacating. And while he
Yeah.
was like loading himself into his car, a fucking hobo, well, some individual ran up to him and just fucking stabbed him to death while
Jesus Christ.
and he didn't even like stab him in a very effective manner. He punctured a lung, and he was like
Oh,
running around gasping for breath while his lungs were filling with
yeah.
blood. And like
Rapidly becoming uninhabitable for air.
exactly, yes. Then like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You can,
Nothing. You're
yeah,
just fucking dead.
yeah. You're fucking. People are trying to insinuate that it was a hit, which you know what. Fuck, I don't know. Like you have enough deranged hobos in just roaming free in California that it doesn't necessarily have to be. And again, what the fuck is your recourse? You can't carry a gun in California
Yeah.
because first of all, they don't recognize anyone else's carry permits, and
Okay.
they make the process for getting one essentially impossible. The only people who can get permits are like celebrities and politicians.
Oh, joy. That's not even
Yeah, it.
practical.
Well, no, because what they had, what California used to have as a filter for, the peons to attempt to carry firearms on their person was there was a requirement for good personal character in order to be issued a CCW permit. So you needed to
Okay.
state that you needed a reason for it. The sheriff's office needed to confirm that they agree with that reason, and they needed to judge you as a person who's worthy of carrying a firearm on your person. Then they would issue you a California permit, which they just never did.
Huh. Yeah, I'm turning into a little bit of an AOL dial-up tone, even trying to process how do they substantiate good character, but it sounds
Uh,
like that's just
oh, very,
their
very,
definition of we just want to nod.
yeah, very easy, very easy. If they have seen you on TV, and if someone from the governor's office called them and told them that you're going to issue that permit, then you judge them to be
Ah,
a good, suitable character. And if you don't get the call from the governor's office, you just don't issue that permit. Simple as.
yeah. Yeah, you know what? That is a pretty quick process at least.
Yeah, yeah,
Just, not for the people.
yeah. Fortunately, we recently had a Supreme Court ruling that the Supreme Court decided that you can't do that. That's illegal. Please stop.
The recourse being that they have to overhaul their gun permit
Yes, yes.
procedures?
So
Okay.
what I'm referring to is the oh fuck, what's the entire wording of that? So I think the case is the precedent is called New York Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin,
Yeah.
and it was a court case that originated out of New York, but essentially it set a precedent of laws in the U.S. have to conform. They have to fall back on a what's referred to a two-step test. Any
Okay.
laws that are put in place have to fall back on the plain text of the Constitution or a
Okay.
history of regulation going back to the signing of the Constitution. So, for example, the plain text is the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's simple enough.
Yeah.
And for example, a more recent example. There you go. They're trying to pass a law that outlaws military-style training, quote unquote. And the plain text of the Constitution is a well-regulated militia being necessary for the freedom for the existence of a free state. Therefore,
Mm.
you can't outlaw train.
Directly unconstitutional.
It's directly unconstitutional. You can't prevent people from training because the people need to be well trained in order to form a militia. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And militias have to be accessible in order to maintain good standing.
Yeah, exactly. Because all of the people are everyone with the right to vote is technically like the American people are members of the militia by default.
Yeah.
And
It's an interesting way.
there's no historical precedent of there being any bans and limitations on military training. So therefore it fails the two-step process and therefore the law is
Yeah.
unconstitutional. So that's the new process that's in place, and that's why they said that also the permitting scheme that like places like New York, Hawaii, and California have in place does not conform to that two-step approach. Like
Yeah.
it does not fall back on any history of regulation, and it quite blatantly
It just kind of came out of someone's ass at some
yeah
point.
yeah yeah it blatantly violates the plain text of the Second Amendment because it
Yeah.
is so the carrying firearms outside of the home for the purposes of self-defense is legal conduct under the Constitution, and therefore you can't do the wild shit that you're doing.
Yeah. See, coming from a country which is so characteristically unarmed, the one thing I've always wondered about just like American gun ownership is gun control laws don't prevent people who are illegally obtaining arms from doing it anyways.
You would
They're
think
circumventing the law regardless.
you would think that thought process would be fairly obvious, right?
But that's coming from someone who lives in a country where I literally cannot buy a handgun under any condition. They're not. You can't buy them anymore. If you own one and you owned one since before it was illegal to buy one,
Yeah.
there has to be a specifically licensed and regulated person who keeps an actual paper record of every time that pistol moves buildings.
Yes.
You want to take your pistol to the gun range? Perfectly legal. There has to be someone there certified with the government to write down your name to say that you moved your pistol to the gun range and back.
That is technically what the Dems would like us to have. Fortunately, they don't have a snowflake's chance in hell of getting that.
Yeah.
I would like to think that the people will fucking revolt before that happens. But yeah, you have correctly arrived to a very simple logical solution that if you outlaw guns, the only people who will have guns are people who were breaking the law in the first place.
Yeah, people who are circumventing the legal procedure of obtaining them regardless. Which is like the...
It's almost like, felons aren't able to legally procure firearms anyway because they're just
Yeah,
barred
like...
by the law.
Barred by the law and by virtue of having a criminal record, which disqualifies them from gun ownership?
Yes. No, I mean, not... Yeah, essentially that. If you have a felony, if you are a convicted felon, you cannot even possess a firearm, so much
Yeah.
buy one. And for some reason, there are videos on fucking YouTube. There are YouTube shorts of people with fucking ankle monitors flexing their Glock switch. I shit you not.
That's incredible conduct.
Yes. For some reason, always happens somewhere in Chicago, which is a notoriously strict gun control state.
Hmm.
And And
I wonder.
I
It's
wonder.
almost like, by
Hmm.
forcing people to confine to these overly tight regulations in a country with a rich history of relatively unproblematic gun ownership, unless you like, I don't even say scrutinize. I mean, like, you look at the country as a whole.
Unless you lie with
You've
numbers.
had guns. I was gonna say it's unless you start skewing statistics and start putting more light on the bad incidents than
You mean
the everyday statistics of how many people fucking own a gun without there being any
you
problems.
mean you mean like if you want to pad your numbers of firearm deaths with suicides that, by the way, are
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that are maybe make up something around, I don't know, 60% of all recorded gun deaths, and that are counted as gun deaths for some reason.
See, that's the kind of like double speak that gets me,
Yeah.
because it's not wrong. It's
Well,
not lying to say that people who kill themselves with a gun have incurred a gun related death, but it's not a gun death.
no,
It's
no,
not
no.
a gun
Here's the thing:
homicide. That is somebody killing themselves.
exactly the term gun death. When you hear gun death, and it's a very deliberate linguistic trick, because
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
a certain segment of the population is very versed in poisoning the well by abusing dialectics. It's almost like there's an entire science inside of inside of communist studies that's just developed to dedicated towards doing that. But when you hear the term gun death, you just assume that someone was gunned down in the street,
Yeah,
as opposed
that's the
to
problem.
being clinically depressed and committing suicide with the first available option that's there, which is a gun, which sort of makes moot that it was with a gun because it's self-inflicted and the straight razor was just in the next room anyway.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I not to trauma bomb, but when I was suicidally depressed many years ago, I'm Canadian. No guns. I didn't own a razor I could use to kill myself effectively. The nearest object, it literally is a matter of the nearest object, because I'm sure if I had gone halfway across my house, I could have found a knife and stabbed myself to death a la seppuku, but, without the ritual beheading to prevent myself from bleeding out on the floor painfully. But instead, what my suicidal consciousness had opted for was, I will take, what was it, 40 milligrams of iron per kilogram of body weight, which will literally melt my colon in one of the most painful and insidious ways to die.
That sounds metal as fuck.
Because when you want to die, listen, if you're like, I'm not suicidal now. Cool, based. I wake up every day and go, the light is beautiful. But when
Listen,
you
for
are
one,
actually
a
motivated to kill yourself, you will use whatever will do the trick. It doesn't matter if it's iron poisoning.
well, not only that, like if we take the same logic of suicides with gun being counted as gun deaths, I can just take every use of the medical assistance in dying in Canada and just saying that that's a tax related death. You know what? They paid taxes that paid for the MAID system. Therefore, those people
Yes,
died of
exactly.
fucking taxes. Let's Taxation is not only theft, it is now
It
murder.
is murder. Taxation is homicide, guys. But
There
I mean, even better. You can expand that to literally anything else and watch it fall apart. You expand that to, if I had succeeded in killing myself with iron tablets, is that now a drug overdose?
Mm-hmm.
Literally speaking, yes, it's an iron overdose.
Mm-hmm.
It melts. Sorry, not your colon. It melts your intestines.
Well, you
Both of them, not just one.
listen, you've taken some sort of pharmaceutical in a dose that's going to be deleterious to you to produce a fatality. So yeah, it is technically
Exactly.
it is a drug overdose.
Literally speaking, yes. And if you want to skew some statistics, double speaking, yes, absolutely. It is a drug-related death.
Yeah, there you go. But you would assume that so that you, I don't know, took a fucking 8 ball that had a little bit too much fentanyl in it,
Yeah.
just based on the
Yeah, see,
wording.
that's the thing, is that, or you had your needle buddy local when you decided to get high for the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fucking sat in the ring playing Ring Around the Posies or Hot Potato with a goddamn needle. Like, that's the assumption it incurs by connotation.
By saying that it's a drug-related death. Yeah,
Exactly.
same with firearm-related deaths. Oh yeah, by the way, 60%, not even half, 60% suicides.
Yeah, that two thirds.
Uh-huh. What's another fun well, now we need to boil that down because that statistic is always they attempt to leverage that against for example, sporting rifles. That's their favorite talking point.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh man,
let's
sporting rifles.
well, yeah, let's ban fucking semi-auto rifles, especially the black plastic ones that look scary. Even though they have no function that's different from a fucking handgun. But I digress. um I'm gonna say before we even dissect the 60% that are suicide, any kind of long gun makes up less than 7% of all gun deaths. And that's, mind you, before we filter for self-defense uses. So that also, that entire number, that also includes justified shootings.
Yeah.
That's also a detail that's frequently omitted for some reason.
Well, because if it's justified, then it can't be used as leverage. So it's mental gymnastics where we conveniently forget the facts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As long as it lends to the image, even in cases again where it's credible and like my brain has already forgotten the word you used, but like a justified gun killing,
Justifiable
self-defense
homicide
or home defense. Yes, okay, yeah. So justifiable homicide.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, are we now counting medically assisted deaths in Canada as like homicide by malpractice?
As executions. Holy shit, let's count
Exactly.
State executions.
State executions. We don't have those anymore.
No, you don't.
But yeah, fuck it. We're still making those numbers go up.
Like fucking hell you do. I've seen those report numbers. I think what the current number of like deaths in Canada attributed to MAID are like 1 in 4.
Oh no, I mean public executions.
Well, we now count MAID as public executions.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
no,
you.
you know what? That's true. 1 in 4 deaths are public executions. That's right.
There
I
you
think
go.
The Canadian public needs to do something about this government.
Yeah,
killing so many people, 1/4 of all deaths.
Yeah.
God, I feel like if you scrutinize Canadian death statistics, this is just from a cultural point of view, not like an actual statistical backed up perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can reasonably account for like 50% or more violent crimes in literally just the Greater Toronto area.
Oh, easily.
It houses the most delusional portion of Canadians. Have you ever met someone who has lived in Toronto for any greater portion of their life than like a year that has ever been happy about it?
I don't know. I don't believe I have. I don't have a lot of exposure to America's hat, unfortunately.
Fair enough. There is an entire breed of Canadians, scornfully labeled as Toronto mans, who are somewhere between delusional homeless people who will kill you for a chance at a penny, which aren't even legal tender anymore, and the kind of wannabe gangster inserting high school attending teenager who wears his pants around his knees and his boxers on the lower half of his ass cheeks.
So it's essentially just cold LA.
Yeah, I guess so.
It sounds about right. Yeah. You know what? This reminds me, which is a topic that I wanted to highlight at some point. For some reason, Canada is very good at producing media personalities. Like you for some reason, you just sometimes eject people into the Anglosphere that just produce content, yourself included.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, man.
I mean, who do we have? We have, well, before, up to a certain point, we had Gavin McInnes before he was banned from everything. He's famously Canadian, although I think he naturalized as a U.S. citizen. Who else do we have?
Sidney Crosby is a big celebrity of varieties.
I don't know
particularly
who
in
that is.
He's this giant Canadian hockey player who naturalized into being an American. I think he plays for Pittsburgh now.
Many such cases.
Or that was the team he retired from. But anyways, he's considered one of the world's best hockey players of all time. If you look him up, you'll find a gazillion. Canada loves to pretend that he's still Canadian, even though I believe he rescinded his citizenship like a decade ago.
Well, okay, at the very least, he's Canadian by birth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he still has it by birthright, and I believe he's married to a Canadian, so he still has it by, like...
Well, he can claim citizenship.
He's still allowed to just... Yeah. Exactly. He could very easily be a dual citizen. And He's either a dual citizen or American naturalized.
Well,
One of the
I
two.
reject the notion of magic soil that, if you step onto hallowed ground and even go through the legal process of naturalizing that you're gonna magically become of this country. I
Yeah.
think it requires a certain background that's also going to be generational. Like for example, I am not sort of standard cookie cutter American. Like
Okay.
my ethnic makeup is just vastly different. I have zero Anglo, German, Irish, or whatever fucking other colonial mix of blood in me.
Yeah. So
I'm
you're not, you're not a generic mutt,
Yeah, well, I am a bit of a mutt. I'm just a little bit like I
but
have
not a
few.
generic mutt.
Yeah, not generic. An artisanal mutt.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
We like to mix our paints a little more delicately.
I have a fewer shades there, a little bit more race purity, so to speak.
Oh God. A cleaner person, so to say. No, listen, contrast my ethnic background, which is in basically every sphere of both world wars except the Asian side, and even that is highly debated in my family.
I am very interested to do a 23andMe because I have an Asian beard growth pattern for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if the rest of my Asian behaviors are epigenetic rather than actually genetic. Well, because I sit fairly comfortably in Seiza, although my
Yeah.
comfort is derived a little bit differently because I am a big enjoyer of high barbell back squats. My thighs of a
Yeah.
size that prevent me from wearing jeans or just,
Ah, fair enough.
any pants of a standard fit. So I just have like
Yeah.
not to talk myself up, but I have a relative tree trunk of a fucking hip. Then it narrows down into a knee joint because joints don't grow unless you like damage
Yeah.
them and inflame them, and then it balloons back up into my calves. And so yeah, pants are.
So, quickly put, you're a fucking One Piece character.
I haven't watched One Piece and I refuse to. So let's say
I listen. I only know that by osmosis, but basically what you're describing.
let's say I'm an aspirational Baki character and I try to dress like one as well.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Better would have been a better guess, but I haven't consumed Baki, so it frequently slips my mind. And One Piece is part of the anime zeitgeist.
I don't know. I've managed to dodge that one entirely. But the point I was making is that the way I sit in Seiza just cuts off my blood flow at a certain point. So I just need to wait myself out until my lower extremities just become numb. And now I can comfortably sit in Seiza.
Of course.
Yeah, the only downside being that if I try to stand up, my entire legs will just cramp up and convulse.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh God.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm still leaning towards that being an epigenetic adaptation rather than a completely inherited one from the Orient. But the beard growth pattern sort of leaves little breadcrumbs, and I probably need to do some sort of genetic study on myself. Although I am
Yeah.
exposed to believing that I'm probably going to be like 80% Ashkenazi Jew.
I'd be curious just to see what kind of dark gray mix of metaphorical paints I would be, because it's my family line's like fucked up. You can
Hmm.
only trace it back, I think, 2 generations, and then it just cuts off.
Hmm.
Like, it literally, at my grandparents, it's just somebody was picked up off the street
Hmm.
during one of the world conflicts, and that's where the family tree begins.
Ah,
So we just don't know where it went.
interesting. I would be interested to know if any of your family lines accidentally appear in Argentina without any previous record of them existing.
I do know quite a few people who did appear in Argentina, but, 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 I don't think my family themselves.
They're
For the most part, they're typical European mutt
ah
and some purebred Italians somewhere along the
okay.
line.
So no
Canadian slave labor.
no uncharacteristically tall, blonde, and blue-eyed Argentinians.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. I see.
But I
Fascinating.
mean, you couldn't surprise me if it was in the blood somewhere.
Maybe. Given that Europe is very intermixed. Um, One of my grandparents was technically born in Guatemala of all places, which is funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guatemala, please do elaborate.
No, so they were fleeing from the communist revolution
Okay.
when it was well, rather they were fleeing the civil war that happened right after, if I recall correctly. So they just landed in Guatemala. They've persisted there for a certain period of time, and then they've repatriated back. I believe that
Yeah.
was shit. I'm not sure when that was. That may be as late as after World War II, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, nice. Like my
Yeah.
great grandfather's workshop in St. Petersburg was predictably ransacked, as you do in communist countries, things of that nature. So like any generational wealth that had any chance of being maintained sort of evaporated. That happened on both sides of my family, which
Oh,
is
great.
it's. I'm not gonna say that it's the primary cause. I don't really hold generational grudges, but it does contribute to my distaste towards tankaboos.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Tankaboo, by the way, just reconfirming here, is the catch-all weeaboo for Russia, right?
No, 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 not Russia. Communists specifically. I
Ah.
bear no ill will towards Russia, even as a state.
Okay.
Like I'll make snarky comments at the expense of the Russian state because, well, it is a very funny kleptocracy.
It's funny.
Uh,
Oh, of course.
Well, listen, I feel significantly less bitter now that I no longer live there and no longer contribute taxes to that shit show. Therefore, I am less invested.
That's fair.
Yeah, I am now more concerned about, paying taxes towards whatever funny shit that Joe Biden does. So, because I
Yeah.
am actually invested with my money here. Although,
Whether by choice or not, but
well, by force of coercion, because taxation is theft. But yeah. So right now, my only complaint with Russia is that they started a war that they couldn't win, and it creates tangible discomfort for me because it fucks up the travel lanes that I usually used to take.
okay, yeah, that would be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, because there is air travel to Russia. It's just that a lot of the primary, well, most European countries have closed their airspace to Russia for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not even being like tongue in cheek here. I don't understand why. I understand that you sanctioned Aeroflot, whatever the fuck you wanted to do with that one, but what is the purpose of closing air lanes? There is none.
Honestly,
It's
I don't know. I don't know
it's
enough about international politics
no,
to be
it's
able to even really comment
listen.
about this.
I'll answer that. It's entirely performative. Like,
Sure.
why did Canada close its airspace to Russian planes? Like, no fucking reason.
Honest to God,
Because
yeah,
yeah.
we're pretty out of touch.
Because everyone else did it. That's the fuck why. I'm especially salty about that one because I was in the middle of a business trip when the entire thing popped off
Ah.
and I had to be fucking evacuated. And my flight got canceled twice because Europe was closing off airspace, and then I was supposed to fly through the pole via Canada, which is like you just get a bigger plane with a bigger fuel tank and you fly through the pole.
Yeah.
Like there you go. It's arguably even. It's not a faster route, but
Done and dusted.
yeah, it's an okay route. And then Canada fucking closes its airspace. The entire flight's canceled, and now I'm on the hook to fly through fucking Qatar. Almost end up in Qatari jail, mind you, because there were physical. There were hentai books in my luggage.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you need to be arriving in Qatar with is porn.
Yeah. I was hope since it was a short layover, I was kind of concerned about that, but my layover was so short that I had to sprint with my luggage in hand through the terminal, like
Yeah.
barely making it to the layover by the skin of my teeth. Um,
Jesus.
yeah. Well, that turns out like I had an extra 10 to 20 minutes left there anyway, but we just boarded and left. And then it turns out that my luggage got delayed. I'm like,
I
interesting.
wonder what
I
happened.
wonder what happened. And then I get my luggage a couple days later, and it was well, it was a fairly large bag, and it arrived all cut up, obviously, with signs of someone attempting to inspect the contents, which I made sure to lock with TSA locks. And the Qatari security service doesn't really have the trust level to have TSA keys, fortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that. I,
Yeah, so that was managed. That's good at least.
yeah, so I maintain that I've at the very least managed to dangle my balls in the face of the Qatari justice system.
Oh God. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
an achievement for one's life, and it's not one that many can easily replicate.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could have done that in a more tangible, meaningful way, like, marking marking some tactically relevant target, but unfortunately I've missed out on that particular plot twist in my life.
Rats. I say by comparison, your layover story is infinitely more interesting than any of the ones I've done because they're all just like 18-hour slogs.
Not necessarily. Like I don't think that's it's not interesting through any of my own merit, if anything.
Ah, fair enough. Well, at least being enough of a connoisseur to have purchased books. A lot of people opt out for the cheap and easy option. They don't collect actual possessions. So,
Wow.
by your own merit, you've done something to instigate it.
Well, here's the thing. I got those books when it wasn't my first or even third visit to Japan, but still, like, most of the hentai I consume is from more or less pirated sources. It's like from some
Yeah,
conglomeration of something. But
yeah.
as a gesture of appreciation for the art form, I still try to buy physical media when I
Oh,
can.
absolutely.
Like, and now I'm sophisticated enough to first of all have preferred artists, and second of all, I'm able to know the places where the stuff is sold and look for the
Yeah.
exact namings and whatnot. So I purchased quite a few artifacts when I was the last in Japan. And a funny thing about the sort of hentai books there, they used to be sold in just like konbini. You could just
Yeah.
you just go to any fucking 7-Eleven or Lawson or whatever the fuck else, and
Nice.
you just buy a 2-inch thick book of little short hentai dojins.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and like,
That seems awfully convenient, though. Yeah, I guess that seems a little too convenient to be allowed to exist in a convenience store.
well, it existed for decades there. What
Yeah.
spurred it to change was the Olympics because Japan needed to clean up its
Ah.
facade a little bit. That's why all the Yakuza shops were
Yeah.
forced to first requalify. Like they had to close down a lot of confirmed Yakuza and hostess clubs and things of that nature.
Okay.
There was an informal communication extended to surviving Yakuza groups at the time that you're gonna transform your establishments into respectable establishments and you're gonna have English menus available, or or we will suddenly find large amounts of drugs during the next hit.
Ah. Wonderful.
Yeah, there was an
Well, at least
understanding.
they had the courtesy to extend that information to
Yeah.
them. They could have just done it, right? Not
Well,
that I'm sure that would be free of repercussions, but
it would have been
literally speaking, it's
it
possible.
would have been free of repercussions because, well, what the fuck, what kind of recourse does organized crime have? It would have been very
That's true.
un-Japanese to do so because the Yakuza subsisted at the time on an understanding that they still occupy a niche where they
Yeah.
bring order to the gray market because the gray market is not going away.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what you
Prostitution,
do.
drug trade, and whatever the hell they're doing is not going away. And if you remove the Yakuza entirely, then you're going to have Chinese
Just
triads.
created a power
Yeah,
vacuum.
you're going to create a power vacuum that foreign gangs are going to attempt to occupy, which is unfortunately, I hear, something that's actually happening as the Yakuza is dying off. So there's that. That's why you, for example, have like a Nigerian street hecklers who are trying to drag you into dingy bars where they're going to charge you 1 million yen for a drink of water.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's certainly the lesser of two evils, right?
Which one? Oh, having a
The,
Yakuza?
the Yakuza, yeah, having the Yakuza.
I would honestly, yeah, I would rather have the Yakuza because right now, like according to people of a more party lifestyle, Nigerians are the ones who are facilitating the drug trade in Tokyo. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I kind of would rather prefer the guys who, at the very least release like a bi-monthly pamphlet about group activities and have like meetings and shit.
Yeah, it's very Japanese,
Yeah.
but They're like their little neighborhood notice, but better to know what they're up to than to not know, and
Mm-hmm.
also better your own citizens than foreign interference, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
out of just out of the sort of basic desire to keep one's country as one's own.
yeah. That's speaking of arbitrary labels, that's the kind of rhetoric that would get you unjustifiably labeled as a racist.
Yeah, no, it certainly would.
Yeah, suddenly
But
not wanting to be replaced by by some amalgamation of very very foreigners. Excuse the tautology there. Now instantly turns you into a racist.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, then somebody pull up that video of Goku saying he's getting even more racist.
I'm gonna have to look for
Listen,
that
man,
one.
I'll go Super Saiyan. Oh, it's just Goku going Super Saiyan, but every time he moves up a level, he makes some comment about becoming progressively more racist.
I see.
It's very good. Speaking of, actually,
Mm-hmm.
weirdly enough, now I know we were talking about arbitrary labels and being an autist, and these days being simply having played a Sonic game is enough to get you labeled as an autist.
Mm-hmm.
But funnily enough, did you know that a major character in one of the Sonic games is literally just Sean Schemmel? Just Goku.
Just Goku. Is
Just Goku.
aha.
Well, I mean, just Goku on a character definition level is present in basically every Sonic game because Sonic, by virtue of the way he functions, is basically Goku.
Well, yeah, because
But
he's the approximation of the shonen character for the Sonic universe.
oh yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Super Sonic came from the concept of Super Saiyan. There's a reason why
Ah,
he turns yellow.
I see. Yeah, yet
Yeah,
another.
you can because even in the first game,
Mm-hmm.
that there is no super form. Even if you collect all the emeralds, do all the shit to get the technical true ending, it's literally just an arcade game.
Listen, yeah,
By the second game or third game, though, they had caught on to Dragon Ball's popularity.
the funny thing about Dragon Ball is because everyone and their mother has lifted every trope that DBZ or just Dragon Ball legitimately established and done it to death. I can't watch DBZ because it consists of the tropes that were done to death and it's not its fault.
Yeah,
Like
it just feels like liquid distilled tropes, and the problem
yes.
with that is that it's not liquid distilled tropes; it's the progenitor of those tropes.
Yes, I understand that Dragon Ball created these tropes, but it's been 30 years and it's been done to death. And I want to watch
Yeah,
Dragon Ball and I can't because it just bores me to tears. It's the same reason I
yeah,
can't
because it's
yeah.
all the same thing that you've seen 1,000 times before.
It's the same reason I can't finish the most recent Netflix season of Baki because it's
Okay.
like unfortunately the pickle arc is when Itagaki is has gotten into that recursive orbit of MacGuffin appears, people attempt to fight MacGuffin overpowers them, including Baki, but because Baki wasn't serious, and like by the end of the arc, Baki becomes serious, fights for real, defeats the MacGuffin, and then we go into a new arc with some minor changes in the cast.
Yeah. And basically the same story beats, same premise, and it just
Yeah.
circles on and on.
And because it's animated, it doesn't have the same impactfulness of Itagaki's panels because
Okay, yeah, that's true.
because he has that very distinct style of essentially emulating old ukiyo-e paintings, but he does that with
Yeah.
tier 5 bodybuilder physiques. Like what people think is goofy depictions are actually just him taking traditional painting styles and applying a modern understanding of physiology and some to some extent an exaggerated presentation of the human form. I personally find it fascinating to look at, but it works best as a manga panel as opposed to
Yeah.
yeah, a dynamic shot that's okay, we're going to linger there for what, like a second because we're watching an anime and shit needs to happen.
Exactly. It's part of the all-encompassing issue of translating manga to anime where it's like, what do we do with paneling?
Yes. I think Ken Ganashara navigates that a little bit better, despite people clowning on the CG of it. I think CG works better because of just spatial complexity of what you're trying to communicate, because
Yeah.
the author of Kengan Ashura is a lot more particular about the martial arts he's depicting. Whether
Yeah.
in
Okay.
Baki you have the bare bones understanding of what martial arts are, because Itagaki does practice. He's a practitioner of multiple martial arts to the extent that he understands what he's describing, but it still
Yeah.
boils down to ridiculously strong men punching each other.
Fair enough.
Whereas in Kengan Ashura, it goes into like granular details. Oh, this is like a heel hook in Newaza, or things of that nature. Like he tries to depict techniques with a high degree of verisimilitude,
Okay.
and therefore the CG format I just think works better because
Yeah, it just holds up.
yeah, I'm fine with the CG, and the flow of the story is, I think, a little bit more engaging.
In Kengan Ashura, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, generally in the
Yeah,
Kengan
see,
series, we're what on Kengan Omega right now. I'm not sure what
yeah,
book we're
Omega.
on.
Some variety. I know my brother was familiar with it, but
I started reading
that's
Omega
like
because they were very slow with putting out new seasons of the anime, so I watched Ashura first and then started reading
yeah.
Omega. Spoiled half of the story for myself, but at the very least I enjoyed the writing and the portrayals. It got me
Oh, exactly.
it got me to learn one of the techniques prominently featured there. Well, not to learn, to more or less master and apply it to my own tool set.
Okay.
It's
Being.
Mikazuki Geri. It's a
Hmm.
literally translated as crescent kick for really
Okay.
no good reason at all. It's a very generic name. But
Yeah.
the point of it is an arcing roundhouse that is that is performed with the ball of your foot,
Oh, jeez.
specifically aimed at the liver. So it's shot up at that
Oh,
in between place between a thrust kick and a proper roundhouse, because a proper roundhouse is
yeah.
supposed to be flat and the thrusting hit extends forward. So it's in that in between place, because that's the angle at which you would be attempting to relay force to a person's liver when they're standing in orthodox.
Yeah.
So, and I've put it in a place where me extending, like raising my knee for a kick, would essentially be identical whether I'm trying to throw an underhanded high roundhouse, a
Yeah.
a stingy little low that I would aim at the shin, or if I'm throwing out a Mikazuki Geri,
Yeah.
which was
Turn.
some variant of that mix-up was essentially present in the Kengan Omega manga. The difference being that the secondary protagonist was mixing it up with the Brazilian kick, which is like a descending roundhouse.
Okay.
But yeah, Kengan Omega pretty enjoyable. Not very tropey, surprisingly so.
So I've heard
Yeah.
that it's kind of unconventional. Mind you,
Mm.
subversive and unconventional is in and of itself kind of becoming
Yeah,
a little cliche
it's
these
becoming
days.
a trope in and of itself.
Yeah, I've noticed that with more than just storytelling and even gameplay conventions or cinema conventions, which I don't see many movies, but it doesn't take a genius to recognize when something is being repeated ad nauseum.
I think the big problem with that is that, again, it was done right once or twice, and then
Yeah, and then everybody wanted to do it,
yeah, and
right?
then talentless hacks picked it up as shorthand for witty writing. And that's why you have the recent Suicide Squad game essentially being an exercise in that. Oh yeah, let's subvert the entirety of the superhero genre, but they forgot that first of all, you actually need to be competent gameplay developers, and you also need competent writers. And they seem to
Yeah.
dearly lack all of it. So I am now waiting for Suicide Squad to finally, for lack of a better term, uh, for what was that game? Forsaken?
Forspoken, yes,
Forspoken.
Forspoken.
I'm hoping that it Forspokens Rocksteady.
Would be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't foresee that happening, but
You never know. You never know. The tech sector isn't doing that well, and if you put out a stink,
that is true.
if you put out a stinker like that, that people are also refunding in mass, and they're also going to get hit with very bad Metacritic scores. That's unavoidable because they didn't even have the budgets to pay shills. Like there aren't even IGN reviews of the game.
I
There's
see.
there's nothing to support Metacritic scores, and what they're going to have to show for that is the salaries of the talentless hacks that made that game, the consultant fees that they paid to Sugar Baby Inc. or Sweet Baby Inc. Excuse me.
Yes, Sweet Baby. Ah, yes.
Yes.
Because we can't call it Sugar Baby Inc.
Listen, regardless, it's still a parasitic formation on the media space.
Oh, absolutely.
Which should die in a fire. Not Kyoani style. I mean, like actually thoroughly.
Yeah.
I meant financially YouTube.
Of course, yes. We don't want to be hurting people.
Yes.
We don't partake of
No,
that.
no, no.
Of course not. Only justified homicides.
I would like to see them ejected from the industry, and I hope that like the combined consultancy fees with the expenses that it took to make that bloated mess are going to match up against the non-existent revenues from its sales, and it's going to be used as justification for axing a lot of the people from Rocksteady, if not closing the studio entirely.
It'd be interesting if it pulled a Saints Row reboot where it basically memory hold the entire company out of existence.
Well, yeah, that's why I brought up Forspoken, because Forspoken did just that. It released, it sold just horrendously because it was just a bad game that was poorly made and poorly written. And as a result, the studio that made it was just 86th out of existence. And I see that happening, and I hope that happens because, well, none of the people that I care about are at Rocksteady anyway. None of the people that made the original...
Yeah, fair enough.
None of the people that made the actually good Arkham games are there. So what we have in current Rocksteady is just a parasitic growth that just formed on a good thing, drank the rest of the juices of it, and let it die. Many such cases.
Worse yet, even people like Kevin Conroy who have given good performances and been contributors to good things have been almost spoiled by this video game.
I hate this so much. Fuck. Now I'm sad.
No better way. No, there's no better study in assassination of a character than I think what was that final scene of Suicide Squad.
That made me like it made me tangibly angry. I am rarely angered by media. That was just fucking wrong because Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman for as long as I was alive. He was the titular Batman, and that was the last.
He is Batman.
He is Batman, essentially. Yes, he is as much Batman as Mark Hamill is Joker, and well, if his Twitter feed is any indication, he's just as batshit insane. But that's besides the point. This is his last portrayal of Batman. This is the last Kevin Conroy Batman we ever get. I was happy
we can or ever will.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, I was happy that Kevin Conroy dodged appearing in Gotham Knights, the other completely abortive Batman property.
True.
Because what a fascinating idea. Let's make a Batman game with none of the Batman and half the quality of a 7-year-old game. Surely, what could go wrong?
Surely there is no case study like this called Assassin's Creed Unity when what happens when you retool your entire engine, try to implement a feature that is never before seen in the series for very good reason, because it's difficult to implement on the framework you've built while retooling your current system and completely changing the direction. What a great idea that was.
Yeah. Well, see, Unity unfortunately sold well. That's why we still get Assassin's Creed games. Gotham Knights, justifiably so, sold like, I don't know, like breakfast cereal made exclusively of broken glass.
Yeah, that's about the descriptor I'd pick.
Yeah, so I was happy that Kevin Conroy dodged that because the writing was also, first of all, it was filled with, for lack of a better term, some fucking commie gobbledygook. And then this comes out, and like they dropped the Suicide Squad trailer. At which point, yeah, sure, like for some reason, Harley Quinn is supposed to look like she's supposed to look more like Margot Robbie, also known, as the ambassador for all mid women everywhere, as opposed to, the hyper athletic, super sexy gymnast psychiatrist.
That she was
Moot
originally
point.
supposed to be, but
And she was in the Arkham games, but again, I
yeah.
don't care about Harley that much when Batman is in the room. And oh shit, Kevin Conroy's Batman, that's gonna be
Yeah.
kick ass.
Oh yeah.
And then they show us this scene, and I just get the most intense case of whiplash. And this is now the last. This is the last Kevin Conroy Batman that ever exists. And I don't, and I'm just personally slighted by the fact that I could have had a good appearance of Batman, and I just don't get that.
Yeah, it's like it could have been anything, and it was
It could
that.
have been anything. Nothing would have been better than this. If it just stopped
Yeah, oh,
at Arkham
absolutely.
Knight,
Oh,
if it just stopped at
absolutely.
Arkham Knight, I am fine with that. For all of the complaints about tank stealth, Arkham Knight is still a
It's
fantastic
still a
game.
game. It's still it's a game is the important part.
It's a game, yes. Is it a big, mostly empty sandbox? Yes. Is the tank stealth kind of ridiculous, just as a concept on its face? Tank stealth? Yeah, kind of stupid. Is the Batmobile needlessly jammed into everywhere because they obviously spent a lot of time making it? Also true.
Who cares? It's a competent game.
Still a competent game, and even though overused, the Batmobile is a funny gimmick. And when you're playing a sandbox game like Gotham Knight, you can choose to just not use it.
Yeah, and
When
if
you're
you
tired of the if you're tired of the Batmobile, if you no longer want to ride the Batmobile, you just glide around on your cape. You're tired of gliding around on your cape, you call in the Batmobile and you ride in a gigantic transforming tank.
it's just like it's the perfect if you don't give a shit about it, just don't interact with it, and if you do, fuck yeah, transforming tank.
Yeah, there you go. Like you give the player it's a wild concept. You give the player agency to engage with the content the way they like.
Wow, that's
Wild, I
not
know.
something I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. We apparently can't have that anymore. Oh wait, we have Pal World now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's speaking of God, I love seeing it made Twitter nuclear for a couple days and nigh
Yes.
unusable. I couldn't I'd never given the website a reason to show me Power World content aside from
Uh-huh.
being the biggest pocket pair shill on planet Earth. Having
Are you?
I was a big fan of
Oh,
Craftopia. I was
I see.
yes, I if I could have been on their payroll for promoting Craftopia, it would be the only thing I would have streamed. The only reason I abstained from
Ah.
streaming it is because streaming open world sandbox game with player agency and also conveniently anime does not tend to fit the taste of most people. Because we have Genshin to like well they have Genshin. If they want to watch anime slop, they'll watch something without agency. But Craftopia is it's the highest form of like
Listen,
peasant
listen,
food.
listen. Hot take. Hot take. I don't think people watch Genshin Impact streamers for Genshin Impact. They either watch them for the drops or they watch them for the parasocial component of the ethot slash fucking titty streamer, or
True.
sorry, excuse me, titty VTuber that's currently playing the gacha game. Inherently, Genshin is as unwatchable as any other sandbox game, more so because it has things like like action limits. It
Yeah.
has the free to play elements on top of it that are also preventing you from playing the game normally.
Yeah, from
So
like
there's
straight A
even
to B.
less. Yeah, exactly. It's even less of a game because it's supposed to have the microtransaction elements to it. Arguably, Craftopia and Palworld are more watchable as content than Genshin Impact or Star Rail.
You see, the problem is that I'm not a female VTuber with tits bigger than my head and maybe even my real life brain than that acts in nothing but poor faith. You know, I like games. I like streaming games that people might actually enjoy. And I understand that Craftopia, for me in particular, is a more enjoyable experience playing it than maybe watching
than
it.
watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, valid, valid. If you can't convert that into a meaningful Zatsu stream, I think it's poison for content. Same goes for Zomboid, same goes for Pal World. They
Yeah.
are brilliant games. I implore anyone watching this to go and play both because both are a labor of love and they're made by people who actually cared about what they were making.
And they were
And I think
fun.
Zomboid is and they're still fun. Zomboid is getting a new, like a very big mechanical overhaul very soon.
Yeah.
They're getting higher buildings. They're getting basements. They're getting
Okay.
They're getting animals with animal husbandry. Like you can
Good
run
lord.
an off the grid farm. You can hunt in the new one. You're
Yeah.
gonna have carnivores. It is. I am so ready for that. And while I do that, I'm gonna play Pal World because Pal World is a fantastic game, and I like the game because it essentially blows out all of modern gaming, and by modern I mean like everything that happened in the space. Oh fuck, when did it get bad? Um,
Really bad?
really bad. Well, it got bad
Midway.
for two reasons. Listen, there were two drivers for it getting bad. Gaming got started getting bad first because it started becoming big budget because budgets were bloating because your production costs were sort of bigger. It was
Yeah.
becoming more labor intensive to use modern engines, and because of that you got more corporate capital. Where you have corporate capital, you have hiring bloat, you have the titular HR hag, as V puts it, and you have these people sort of exacerbating your costs. And therefore, if you're investing movie-sized budgets, you want to make sure that your product sells well. And
Yeah.
the way to do that was seen as homogenizing the product to the lowest common
Oh, of
denominator,
course,
so
which
that it would appeal to the non-existent wider audience who may have heard of your brand name existing, but they didn't give a fuck about it before. And spoiler alert, they didn't start giving a
yeah, they're
fuck
not
about
going
it
to start
later.
giving a shit about it just because you tried to do
Yeah,
something that doesn't appeal to them but might by lowest
yeah.
common denominator.
Yeah, exactly. That's why every game at a certain point was either fucking Call of Duty, then every game was The Last of Us, and then every game had to be Uncharted. Something the order is a little bit different, but it is essentially that. It's that faux realism with the shit filter and toned down everything, including wit, style, and game design.
Yeah.
That was the first part of the downfall of gaming. Then there was the other one where the field got infested with activists, where essentially Anita Sarkeesian replicated by mitosis and just infested the entire field. And it looks like it can only be purged with flames. And at this point, I don't really mind. Let it fucking burn.
Honestly, they're doing it to themselves really quick.
Brother Epistolary, bring me the flamer. The heavy flamer.
Yeah, oh
I no
god.
longer give a fuck. I want every established name that engages in that to fucking burn to the ground. I want them to bloat their payrolls so much with people that do so little. I want every big game title, I want every AAA release to be fucking Redfall.
Oh, oh god, that would be beautiful in its own right. To see a slow and very quickly speeding up burning of that whole like sector of AAA bloat.
Yeah.
God, please get it away.
Yes, yes. I want that entire thing to die. I want nature to heal, and then I want to get more Pal Worlds, which is apparently the thing that's already happening anyway. So I'm very happy about
Yeah, it's
that.
great. I mean, it's
Because
evidently people who actually give a shit about game design and who may not be as technically skilled in art or as technically skilled in programming are coming to the table with good game design. And lo and behold, people are willing to forgive a little bit of jank when there's a certain integrity of design that actually tries to give the player agency and give them things to do. And much more than that, which this is the important part that AAA has forgotten, tries to make those things fun.
yeah, yeah, fun is back on the menu, boys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's especially funny for me because people were conflating the increasing sales of games up at a certain point as being caused by the sort of homogenization of media and them inserting the certain talking points, inserting the message. into what they're doing, falsely stating that that is causing the increase in sales. Oh, we've put this checklist of design attributes into our characters. Our main character is a strong, independent woman that don't mean no man. She also has the fucking problem haircut and the mental disease hair color. But there you go.
Oh, don't
That's
forget
why
the
the game
one-liners.
sells.
You can't forget the one-liners.
The one-liners, exactly. The one-liners can be a good medium if they're well written. They rarely are.
That's the
The only
problem.
exception
Is
to
that
that is,
when do you get
yeah, the
that?
only exception to that is going to be John St. John. John St. John can sell any slop.
Honest to
You
God,
you
yes.
give him words on a piece of paper that make absolutely zero sense, and John St. John will fucking sell that. But that's besides the point. And people are saying that, well, we started doing this thing and sales go up, line go up, therefore good, and they're conflating causation and correlation because they're forgetting that at the same time as that started happening, that was also like the early era of when digital distribution was sort of kicking off,
Yeah,
because that
and
was the
becoming
era
really,
of
really
games that,
prominent.
yeah, it was the first generation of game. Well, for example, MKX sold like volumes more than MK9 despite being an objectively inferior game in like
And
every
yeah, in like
department.
every single way because it was more accessible.
Absolutely every way. Yes, because unlike MK9, you didn't have to go to the store, buy a physical disc, bring it home, and then sit your ass down to play. No, you just link up your credit card, you buy it off of Xbox Live for me at the time, you wait for 30 minutes for it to download through your broadband, which is now fast enough to actually do that.
Yeah,
And there you go. You have a game. And because of that, because also Xbox Ones were sold significantly better than Xbox 360s, just through the sheer nature of the attachment rate of the console, yeah, there
yeah,
you go. You have MKX sales, and unfortunately, a game that is inferior in everything in moveless design, character design, story narrative, corporate overreach, it's still sold more than the objectively better game because it was just more convenient to buy.
exactly. I mean that's Mortal Kombat's like a really good example of that, but that's basically visible everywhere. Look at every installation based
It's a
series.
great example. Yeah, it's a great example of a game that also just fucking died.
Yeah,
Like MK1 is just abandoned by everyone. People who were still holding their nose and playing MK11, people like me who bought MKX off of just the promise of MK9, even though I was sort of waving a red flag there, saying that hey, this shit's kind of whack. Like
yeah,
the developer is saying shit that they really shouldn't be. Like I still, to this day, I will never let them live this down.
yeah,
The character designer for MKX, which was a fucking pencil-necked androgynous fuckwit, stating, "Oh yeah, we're reimagining the character designs, and the old fan base will probably not like it, and we're fine with that." At which point I decided, you know what? How about you like not getting my fucking money? And that's where okay, here's Tekken.
yeah.
What do we get in Tekken? An actual game with a higher skill ceiling and big bouncy budgets. Sold. And I've been a Tekken main ever since.
Oh, fair enough. I mean that's
I dabbled in Street Fighter for a little bit because, three main reasons. Cammy's ass, Cammy's abs, and her obliques.
you know what? Those are as good a reason as any, but unfortunately, I don't know, man. Street Fighter just doesn't do it for me. But that's it. That's exactly the point. And then you have Tekken. Yippee.
Yeah. Well, Street Fighter doesn't do it for me because I'm bad at Street Fighter. I don't have legacy skill.
Ah, fair enough.
I get blown up in it. It doesn't feel good to be blown up in it. I still paid for the game. I still have it. Like, I'll attempt to establish some sort of skill level in it eventually when I get bored. Um, right now, I'm pumping out Tekken 8 content because, well, Tekken 8 is the core of my content
Oh
anyway.
yeah, it's fresh anyways too.
Yeah, and I have the legacy skill to go into rank and just terrorize new players.
Yeah, well, everybody's still in the low ranks together. This is a 50-50 chance that you get matched up with someone who's going to be a good fight, which is going to be fun because it's a good fight, and a 50% chance you're going to get stacked up against somebody who you can mop.
It's starting to separate at this point. Like it's been 3 days, so all of the real sea monsters have already ascended to like teal ranks.
Yeah,
They're already in like the Raijin Fujin area. They're fighting for who gets the Tekken God rank first.
yeah,
Um, you have the absolute chaff, like people who are just pressing buttons wildly all the way. I'm gonna say up to red ranks.
Jesus.
And it's yeah, and it's actually fun in red ranks because you will sometimes just run into a legacy player who has movement understanding of mechanics, he knows some of the legacy movesets, and then it's going to be a battle of which one of you mastered the new mechanics first.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's going to be the person who doesn't really have a grasp of the concept of frame data. And then I just blow him up with the most ridiculous Feng Wei flowcharts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna deny it. Listen, I play Feng Wei for big brain high skill plays. I have Jin and now I have Reina. Reina seems like a very technical character, uh, but sometimes I just wake up and I choose violence, and that's when I play Feng Wei.
Of course, why not? You gotta have that character in your
Yeah,
arsenal somewhere. I mean, when I play fighting games, I always pick generally two characters, one for when I want to turn my brain off, and one when I want to turn my brain back on.
yeah, exactly. The Feng Wei is my hard knowledge check. If I don't want to sweat, and I know that whoever I'm playing against may not necessarily know the like Feng specific matchup,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna smooth brain and autopilot with Feng Wei because they're gonna have to expend a lot more effort playing against Feng Wei than me trying to operate Feng Wei.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? He's also nice to look at because he's built like a fucking brick shit house.
Yeah. I mean, like half of the entire Tekken cast is built like a brick shithouse, though.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed actually that while I play Tekken, despite the fact that I complain about Jin being very anime, just the look and the message of the game and the impactfulness of it serves as very good motivation porn for me for training because I look at, big burly men and Reina performing martial arts competently, even with some, creative license, and I'm like, damn, shit, I need to work on my left roundhouse. I need to be as snappy and
Yeah,
impactful as that.
it needs to be. This shit gotta be 11 frames.
Yeah. I wanna punch a motherfucker so hard there's electricity coming down out down his spine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. It scratches my itch that way.
Absolutely fair.
Yeah. We've derailed off of every topic. It's and I really wanted. Oh, right. The thing that I originally started with, your hand cam stream.
Ah,
How did you even arrive to the idea of doing that? Because that was fascinating for the folks at home who haven't seen that. So what this absolute mad lad did, he bought a chroma keyed Zentai, chroma keyed the color out, and then positioned the VTuber so that it looks like a hand cam stream with only the VTuber hands being visible. And that is just a phenomenal effect. Like hats off.
I mean, it. Listen, I can tell you, it was born out of sitting at my chair and going, "How can I possibly make VC face on only a trackpad even more cumbersome to use?" And that was camera movement.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized, oh, hold on, I know how to do chroma keying. This is like I have the skill set of like a professional video editor. I almost autopiloted into saying motion graphics editor, which is absolutely not the case. But
Mm-hmm.
I can undercut basically any editor you'd hire off the internet. I wonder if I could do
Yeah.
this and put it into a YouTube video. And then I came across a VTuber who goes by Hatsuri Shinonome, and
Aha.
they make DIY content
Mm-hmm.
where they basically do something that confirmed that idea in a very different way, but they cut themselves out, have full body tracking, and overlay that over top of their real environment using some sophisticated guesswork in getting things aligned up properly. And then I realized, fuck it, I can do this for a desk.
How did you ever see Onigiri's stream? Onigiri,
The
the
cooking
culinary
lady.
VTuber.
I know of
Yes,
her
yes.
in concept, and I think the motivation to do it, the concept of doing it came from working with VC Face, and the motivation to do it
Mm-hmm.
came from learning about onigiri after I had this idea and thinking, I feel like I could do this better.
Yeah, well, she essentially does the same thing. She wears a chroma key suit
Yeah.
up to a certain point where she also like there is some fine tuning to it where she, with a big degree of believableness, replaces herself with the VTuber model,
Well, yeah, but
and it
she's also 2D,
flows
is she
fairly
not?
well. She is Life 2D, yes.
Yeah, and beyond that, she also uses she doesn't do well as a necessary caveat of live 2D. She can't exactly maneuver herself in 3D space the same way we
She
can.
cannot. She cannot. Again, the 3D superiority
Of
strikes
course,
again.
absolutely. I can move forward and backward. I don't just
Ah,
translate, there's real information to my model here. If I want
yeah,
to turn
yeah,
around, that's not an optical illusion. That's a very real and perceptible part of
yeah.
19,152 polygons that constitute my hair. We don't worry about that, by the
I would
way.
never listen. If I started counting the polygon counts on my current model, including the invisible materials, I'd probably score out even higher because I am notoriously shit at optimizing
Oh, no, no.
anything. Like for example, yeah, I think I shared that with you previously. That rifle behind you, the MCX Spear specifically,
Yeah.
has caused not one, not two, but three separate just system-wide freezes while I was
Jesus.
attempting to stream just chatting. Like the only things that I had on was OBS, Venian running this environment, and an instance of Chrome.
Yeah.
That's it. It froze my fucking 3070 equipped PC
Jesus
completely
Christ.
up.
That is.
I think the polygon count on that rifle specifically is a little intense.
Yeah, probably. A little memory intense, but that's okay. It
Yeah,
happens. Shit happens.
yeah,
But my hair is more
yeah.
the product of Vroid's method for generating hair, which is meant for people who do not do 3D modeling.
Yeah. I fucked around with some Vroid assets. I ended up only keeping the armature and the head.
Yeah.
This is still leftover from Vroid because I
Yeah.
didn't feel like learning how to create blend shapes and shape keys. I do not have the time of day to do that, and
Well, it's
I
tedium,
just choose.
really. It's not particularly
Yeah, I
difficult.
choose
It's
not
just
to.
not the most interesting work.
And it requires more it requires to be less of a hack than I am, and I am admittedly a hack. I would rather streamline certain parts of hard skills that I don't have to learn and learn other skills such as jury rigging shit in Blender and putting it together.
Oh yeah, if it
um
works, right?
yeah, but I tried to repurpose some of the clothes that were attached to the model to resize them to the new body.
Yeah.
And holy shit, is our Vroid clothes are such a clusterfuck of meshes because they're made in a way to be scaled in Vroid,
And
and
not
because
any
of
other
that,
way, yeah.
yes, and when you try to pull on certain threads, they overlap in that just ungodly fucking way that just does not work with anything,
Yeah,
and I
it's
just had to.
crazy.
Yeah, I had. Well, it's not crazy. It does the job.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
in a Vroid context, to make a Vroid, it is optimal. You set the meshes up and you rig them up in a way that they react to the to the scroll bars.
Yeah.
But if you try to actually manipulate it and God forbid bind it to a new armature, that is completely batshit insane.
Yeah, now you're working against the intended purpose of the program, which does its job perfectly well,
Yes.
which is to substitute for having to do that in the first place.
Yeah. You're essentially trying to cargo cult something that was for a purpose it was never intended for.
Exactly.
And boy did I get burned on that.
Yeah, I've had that. I've made those my share of mistakes in that manner as well, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
Ah,
3D superiority still reigns, in my opinion. Like it
yeah. I
even,
maintain.
I mean, Vroid's like, provided you have, some capacity to consider a design that goes beyond generic anime boy in hoodie, using nothing but
Mm-hmm.
default assets. I'll even tell you right now, everything below the head is default assets, excepting the tie, which I drew in like 2 minutes with a mouse. In
Yeah,
Vroid,
I
actually.
can.
But it
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because it's not used in the generic conventional zero thought process way. It's not a shortcut. a supplement to a lack of a skill
Yeah,
set elsewhere.
it's a it's a crutch, but it's a crutch if used correctly. It still provides something that looks somewhat unique,
Yeah, exactly. Like, just because
as
both of
opposed
us
to
started with
yeah,
V-roids doesn't mean we need to be V-roid hoodies. You have red skin. I have paint. Well,
yeah.
you've multicolored skin and tattoos, and like you convey an intent of design that is very much not just ooh woo. I am cat boy. Tee hee.
Yeah. I was about to make a derogatory joke, but then I I had to stop myself because it would point fingers in directions that I don't really want to.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I'm trying to not involve third parties in this one. The tattoos, however, that's an interesting story about the
Yeah, let's
tattoos.
hear it.
Um, well, actually, the tattoo layout I currently have is pretty much identical to the Horimono that I would have had done IRL. That's the tattoo pattern. Like if given an infinite budget and
Yeah,
access to a horishi, to a tattoo artist, this is what I would have done. Back included, because there's a gigantic like picture of the blue Fudomio on my back.
hell yeah.
Um, yeah, that's legitimately what I would have gone for. Unfortunately, that would also mean that I would forever lose the capability of attending a an upscale Japanese bathhouse, or just
Yeah,
generally be barred from polite Japanese society. So
yeah, because it comes with some unintentional ramifications.
yeah, people from a certain basket weaving forum have insinuated that I'm overcompensating with this model. And the only real overcompensation with the model are the tattoos. I am legitimately overcompensating for not being able to do this IRL. Otherwise, I would have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, that's how I felt about it the same way. Because I was like, I do appreciate the artistry of tattoos, but I'm not a big fan of cheap, shitty tattoos of Mickey Mouse smoking a doobie. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not exactly my. If I'm gonna get something so permanent done, then it might as well be. I don't want to
Yeah,
say
it's going to be a work
artistic.
of art.
Yeah, I want
No,
it
no,
to
no,
be
no, no. Have it
tasteful in a specific capacity.
Listen, have it be artistic. Why not? Like it's a piece. It's an image that you're putting on yourself. There's a
Yeah,
reason. There's a very specific artist that is the only option that I would trust to put anything on my skin, which is either Horiyoshi the second or Horiyoshi the third, who is his like direct disciple. Like these people have the credibility that I would trust, no matter how much money I'm overpaying for that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, because it's not just about skill; it's about it is about the trust that you have in them to do
it is
that job and to do it right.
Yeah, and it is about the skill in the portfolio, and generally it would lend authenticity to what I'm trying to do, rather than going to fucking LA and finding some fucking I don't know half Japanese expat who doesn't even speak to his family anymore and
Yeah,
is detached from his roots in every meaningful way other than monetizing the fact that he still has some credibility with a skill.
yeah,
So yeah, there's that. There was also a funny exercise in me attempting to align the textures early on because of how skin textures wrap around a Vroid model.
yeah,
The seam runs through the back, and there's a very complex image on the back. So I had like I think 8 different versions of me attempting to align the tattoo correctly so that it sits just right.
yeah. And then, but it's nice when you get it right, though. I mean, it's obviously
Yes,
easier to
yes.
work with your own model, but those are the sacrifices we
Well,
make,
it's
right?
listen, it's very gratifying to do so, and that's a big reason why I insist that content creators, especially when they start out, they make their own
Oh,
assets to a
absolutely.
certain extent because you're a content creator. You are
Yeah,
supposed to be able to produce media because I think that's a rite of passage as opposed to, dropping an upward of $700 on a generic ass model with a very uninspired design and then not really going anywhere with it because in the process, there was no process of attainment. You did
Yeah,
not build this model up from anything. You just overpaid money for an overhyped asset for a very niche hobby. And you know what? Props to the people charging those kind of prices. I mean,
and
if
getting
there's a
away
gold
with it,
rush,
absolutely.
listen, if there's a gold rush, the best business is to sell shovels and pickaxes.
Exactly.
That's a well-known fact. Like one of the things that spurred me to do my 3D model to do the 3.0 model that I'm currently sporting
Yeah.
on my own, like to learn Blender, was the fact that I did shop around for artists. I shopped around for 3D artists to ask like what the rigging process, what's going to be the cost of just upscaling the existing model, not making it from scratch. And I would get estimates ranging between $600 and $1,200.
Yeah, and see, that's
And I'm
that's a
like,
that's a lot of money for one
yeah,
model.
it's not even that it's a lot of money. That's the thing. So I don't like, I would rather sit down and learn a skill and understand how to do that.
Exactly. You're learning something.
I'm going to get a hard skill out of it. And also, it's not an issue of, it's like I'm spending my time, like it took me around maybe 2 to 3 weeks to put the model together to figure out how like assigning armatures works and what's not,
Hmm.
like figuring out weight painting and shit. Um, but did I waste my own time? Sure. Is my time is like 3 weeks of my time not worth more than $1,300? Sure, it is. But whoever was fucking attempting to charge me that money, their time definitely is not worth
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that you can do this in 3 hours. Your 3 hours of your time is not worth $1,300, and I wanted to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Especially when, again, on the table is also learning a hard skill. It's not like that's gonna have zero use for you in any other way. I mean, yeah, sure, the way you apply that, it's maybe not instantly, but and it part of the experience. Again, we're creators. We don't. There's a
Yeah.
reason we become content creators, because we are not. Yes, we're content consumers in the same way everybody else is, but we also want to contribute. Throwing money
Yeah.
at your problem is not contributing.
Yeah, well, because at the end of the day, you've learned nothing. You've understood nothing about the creative process. You've spent money on a thing, and now you're poorly attempting to jerry rig and use it. And usually the result is going to be fairly hollow as an outcome of that. Another thing is I have a pronounced fixation of self-sufficiency, which is, for example, why I can't into Live 2D. I just reject the concept for myself. If it works for someone else, fine. It's their
Oh
funeral.
yeah, it's your ball house.
I want, yeah, I want the self sufficiency of being able to manage my own assets. I don't want to ring up and commission a fucking artist every time I need some minute adjustment to my own model that I own. Not to mention the whole murky waters of commercial rights to a certain creative property. uh, it's not an issue with my current model. Did I use some pre-existing assets? Sure, but I've transformed them in a legally distinct way that, first of all, you can't really trace what I used. Second of all, I've transmuted them in a way that makes it my own
Oh,
anyway. I'll
absolutely. Yeah.
credit I'll credit the source for the original model. I'll pay money for whatever I got. Like, for example, my face texture is a purchased asset. I'm perfectly fine with that. I paid money for it. I paid the commercial license for it,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but
But
I've
it's
put
but
it
you have the
together.
commercial license now, and you put it together.
Yeah, I still put it together in a unique way, and like I still own the combination of the parts in a meaningful way. And if I ever feel the autistic pull to over focus and over engineer a specific piece of my own visual representation. For example, wanting to spruce up my plate carrier with traditional Japanese designs and very specifically go out of my way to have visible black tip carbide oxide ammo, I can just go and do that. And I will know the tool set to do that.
Yeah. No, you can just do it, and not only do you not have to call someone up to do it for you, you do not have to pay them, and you do not have to humor their bullshit if they have a waiting list, or if they don't pick up, or if
Yep.
they scam you.
Yep.
Like it's
Yep.
so much
Exactly.
headache you're just avoiding by being self-sufficient in
Yeah.
some capacity.
Yes, yes, that's why I compassionately point and laugh when I see someone attempting to spend an upward of $1,000 on a model before they've even went live once.
Yeah. Well, it's it's a recipe for disaster, really.
Yeah,
And a lot
yeah,
of people do it thinking, or rather, again, like you said, Gold Rush, sell pickaxes and shovels. It's that easy. People are going to sell their services, especially model creation, live 2D rigging, this, that, and the other assets and accessories to
mm-hmm,
anyone who will throw money at it. The problem is people throw money at
yep,
it first, think later. Do they actually enjoy the
yep,
process of creating content and streaming and doing the fucking thing? Because it's not for
yep.
everyone. And when you create something, it's going to be shit the first time, but you have to
Oh,
learn.
of
And if you
course.
don't even have the integrity to consider what you want for your own design and you just throw money at someone from the conceptual stage, even, it's not going to
Yeah,
fucking happen.
you're probably in the wrong line of business here. And that's why I dismiss out of hand the cope of, oh yeah, I have the dispensable income to do so. Fantastic. So do I. I've spent $3,000 on my rifle, and that's just the rifle. We're not even getting into the attachments that I put on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Uh, uh,
Just because
yeah,
you have the money, the financial liquidity to do so, doesn't mean it's a good idea.
yeah, I'd rather spend the money on tangible goods that will have utility for me, as opposed to overpaying some art monkey to do it.
Well, worse yet, overpaying some art monkey to do it for a murky
Or to
water
scam you.
situation. Yeah, to scam you, where there's a 1 in 3 chance that you get it and it's shit, you don't get it at all,
Yeah.
or you get it and then there's some dispute later which results in a twit longer, which inevitably ruins your prospects.
Yep, exactly. Because, well, first of all, you're also going to be red flagging yourself. And as added insult to injury, people will point and laugh, well, because you just got bamboozled.
You got fucked, and you know what? If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I I still commission some bits of art, but I commission bits of art.
Yeah.
Things that I just cannot do. Like I can't invest my time into learning to draw just because I am completely shit at it. I'll paint calligraphy. The Japanese script on the Killdozer painting behind you, that's my calligraphy.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that I can make and then integrate into other things. But I'm not going to go beyond that because now that becomes an unreasonable amount of hours that I need to invest into learning that skill
Yeah.
because Blender is pretty much on rails. You watch a YouTube video, you know how to use Blender with certain tolerances and knowledge of best practices.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Painting is an
there's enough
entirely
crutches that
different. Yeah.
you can rely on. Hell, you can take any
Yeah.
drawn image and drop it in Blender and model over that with that as a reference and literally have it be see-through, so you can see that reference at all
Yeah.
times. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I as someone who proudly lacks any artistic inclination, I'm apparently pretty okay at using like tools that work with standard software formats. I can't draw to save my life. Therefore, I will stay in the wheelhouse that I am good at, and I'll sometimes venture outwards. I'll either receive art as a treat, like like a certain someone we know. I think it's fine if we name Gunpei specifically. has
Oh yeah,
has graced the internet with a recent emote that I've already
with
incorporated.
some good.
See, yeah, yeah, that definitely adds some crunch to it.
Yeah.
So that's funny. It's nice when I receive things like that because I just have no capability of creating something like that. I the skill tree that would require for me to do that just received zero investment for me, zero skill points into that particular avenue. I'm just grateful that Gunpei decided to go out of her way to do that, and added bonus points for it also being funny.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Um,
even better when you've done some of your own assets, your own art, you appreciate it better.
you appreciate that work.
Yeah,
Yeah, you appreciate
absolutely.
that work. For example, yeah, I've also received like multiple pieces that were drawn from by Olga Okami,
Yeah.
and damn, listen, I could never do that. I just lack the physical capability to do. Well, it's a neurological capability. If we're gonna go
If
deep
we're
into
gonna
the
get
weeds there,
nitty
but
gritty, but that's splitting
yeah,
hairs.
if we want to get mechanically technical, but the point still stands. I lack the mechanical capacity to do that.
Yeah, no, it's just
but
not a.
but I can go into Blender and do other things, and it's perfectly fine. And if I want something that's like produced to my spec rather than expecting my peers to produce something on a whim, then I'll go. Well, who else has made? I mean, I'm trying to not neglect anyone who's produced a scribble of me, because I know that Renata made a very interesting portrait of my character,
I
which
don't
I'm
think
also
I've seen
grateful
that
for.
one.
I'm especially grateful that she hasn't gone any further with incorporating me into the stuff she makes.
Oh boy.
I have
Yeah, no, I've
I have been I have been mercifully spared that, and thank you so much. But yeah. Fuck. What was I saying? Shit.
trying
I
not to
lost
leave
my train of
anybody
thought
out
entirely.
in the train of appreciation of the gratuities you've received, I believe.
Yeah. No, there was somewhere I was going with it. Ah, fuck it. Never mind. I'm still grateful for those. Um, but yeah, I appreciate those things because right, that's where I was. So if I don't want to rely on the whims of my peer group and my friends to produce those things for me, I'll go to an artist that has a skeb page or something like that. I'll just pay them money to do the thing, and they'll do it to my spec. Like, I've done that. I have two actual pieces of commissioned art because my Wiggly is a commission. And what else? There's also one piece of art that I've posted at some point.
That was just commissioned straight up.
Yeah. I commissioned it from Topsu. It's an artist on Twitter. I think I
Okay.
posted it at some point. It's what people called the Yasified Kuromaru. I don't really know why. I guess
I don't
it
think
had
I've
a very
seen that
strong
one.
Gyaru. You haven't?
Maybe
I can show
not,
it off
but
to you.
I don't know. I kind of live
Well,
under a rock.
it had a very strong Gyaruo feel to it. Like, I get it,
Yeah.
because of just the style in which the artist draws. I don't mind it. I understand that my design predisposes me to look like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty okay. You just presuppose that bright red skin is tan skin, and it sort of starts fitting that archetype.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, it works.
yeah, granted that whenever I'm exposed to the sun, I will actually turn pretty much this shade of bright red anyway, so
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind
me
of
too.
works. Yeah, sunscreen.
Yeah, sunscreen and vampirism.
You have anything? Oh, I think I rudely interrupted you when you were talking about your process for the screen cap, or not for the screen cap, for the hand cam stream that
Oh,
you were
listen, man,
contemplating looking at onigiri and whatnot.
I don't consider it rude. It was good tangents in it, and we both kept rolling the snowball down the hill as it got bigger and bigger. So nothing really wrong with that, honestly.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, no, our 3D superiority is where the snowball hit the ledge and started rolling.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then we
yeah,
then we inevitably got into DIYing and being our own
yeah.
creators. But
We've affirmed 3D superiority.
oh yes.
We've explored the topic when we have concluded that yes, indeed, 3D is superior, and Live 2D remains the resource misering cope that it is.
Yeah, I listen, man, I don't think I've ever thought something was more overpaid for than Live 2D. And I understand it's you got to rig it and all this good stuff, but it's tedium. It's not making art as skillful. Rigging Live 2D is
Yeah.
tedium.
Yes.
You're realistically paying, and especially in the worst of it, when rigging was like $1,200 a couple years ago, that was
Mm-hmm.
fucked up.
Well, because it was a very narrow niche, now it's a little bit more populated. I get the artists that raise prices. Like, I get why Lobotomy Bunny charges the money that she
Oh,
does,
absolutely.
because she needs to create a bottleneck somehow. Otherwise, she's gonna have a wait list the length of my leg.
Yeah,
And like, if so many people are clamoring for the things that you do, it's only reasonable that you listen to the market forces, and you let the invisible hand of the market to tickle the balls of the clientele,
yeah,
and
and just
extract the
get a little more money out of it.
yeah, based, get that
Oh,
bag.
absolutely, get that bag. But yeah, no, it felt like it was just such a bubble for a long time, and then it kind
Hmm.
of instead of popping entirely, as many people expected VTubing to do, it kind of just deflated, and now we're in a somewhat comfortable middle, I would find.
I think that VTubers are as we are already legion. I think we're just becoming subsumed into the streamer meta, and we're just becoming a subcategory, a more stable subcategory of meta, of streaming rather, because people are no longer looking for VTubers specifically as you would say in like 2017, 15, like
Yeah, when they
as
were
you would be
looking
looking
specifically
for
for
for the
that.
Yeah, like you looking for VTubers because there's only a handful of them, and like your Japanese VTubers are essentially limited to either extremely obscure indies or just the decaying corpse of Kizuna Ai or Kaguya Luna before she went AWOL on her character.
Yeah.
Um, Now you're starting to get stratified niches of VTubers, like tactical VTubers. There's GFE VTubers. There's well, essentially glorified ethos with a VTuber
Yeah, yeah,
avatar.
I was gonna say GFE is a very kind descriptor.
Listen, I will clown on the concept, but I will clown on the consumer more than I will on the person
Yeah, no,
perpetrating it.
the consumer is definitely more at fault for consuming that knowingly than the creator for literally getting that bag. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know who needs to hear this. They all have boyfriends. They all have
Every
boyfriends. The
single
ones that
one of
don't
them.
have boyfriends, they are married. I hate to break this to you, but total, total unicorn death.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolute unicorn death.
As proven by Hololive very recently.
Yeah, oh god, yes. The nuclear
Ah.
apocalypse, the extinction of unicorns. Thank God.
they
We're all better for it.
they thought they were safe simping after a fucking corpo VTuber. Little that they know.
A ticking time bomb corpo VTuber, one that they thought no sane man would ever touch this pussy. And nope, nope, it certainly did not make a difference.
Yeah, they forgot that that's not really a deterrent.
No, it's really not. If anything, it's actually something that makes it even more sought after in my limited world experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really explain to a younger self that you probably want to leave certain types of people on red.
Yeah.
As you get older, it sort of gets out of your system, but damn, that's it's not unfortunately experience that can be taught. Or maybe just no one bothers teaching it in enough detail. I can't quite speak to that.
Well, I mean, at a certain point you begin to realize that thinking with hormones is a little less
Oh
comparatively a
no, it
little
wasn't.
less productive than thinking with your brain.
See, see that in my particular case, it wasn't thinking with hormones. It was thinking in a Machiavellian way of seeing if there are strings to pull.
Yeah, that's
I never claimed to be a virtuous person.
fair enough.
I am bright red and I can have horns protrude from my head on demand. That ship has long sailed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, unfortunately there was like I ignored every warning label that came with that sort of lifestyle.
Yeah, well, you know what? Fly close to the sun, the wax wings melt down pretty quick, but by God, is
Yeah,
it nice
yeah,
to fly.
it does feel warm at a certain point.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
God.
that's yeah, that's great.
What a wonderful life experience.
Yeah. Listen, I blame the dissolution of the nuclear family for that. So,
Yeah, you know what? It does that will do it to you, among many other things that will
well,
do it just as well.
well, yeah, that's the double-edged sword of the sexual revolution. Like it seems to over the years, it seems like it's producing more deleterious effects than not. And
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like the poison that is Marxism seeps has seeped fairly deep, and oh boy, are we gonna have a rough detox after this one.
Oh, it's gonna be an insidious process. Who knows if it'll be slow, but it will very much be marked and it very much will be felt.
Well, I mean, it's so like nature is healing in a way. And even on forsaken places like fucking TikTok of all places, because like you'll have Zoomer women complaining about, oh, what do you mean I need to work 40? There was this very recent video of like a young girl complaining that she works a day job. From the description, I assume she works entry level
I
just
see.
based on her age. Yeah, and she's complaining like, I have to work 40 hours a week, and like what, she gets paid $2,000. I don't know what's her tax situation, so I'm not gonna cast aspersions on her being California or not. Like essentially it boils down to, I work 40 hours a week, I pay for a two-bedroom apartment in rent, and like I have barely any money left after groceries and bills, and I have very little time to direct at myself, which I from on the one hand I kind of can appreciate, and I have some sort of compassion, understanding that that's not a very comfortable place to be.
Oh
At the
no.
same time, I'm reminded of the fact that, you know what, I worked 15 60-hour weeks in an audit firm, and I lived in a condemned building at the time because I was paid even less.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like,
yeah, like I survived, but I get that it's very uncomfortable to be in a very competitive workplace like that, and not everyone wants to deal with that shit. Not everyone wants to deal with a fucking 5 days a week 9 to 5. At which point, maybe some people, just incidentally, it just so happens that the predominant majority of them are women, are not really just built and predisposed to be happy in that, while being in the labor market. And they're slowly starting to gravitate towards like, maybe I don't want to do that. And you know what, it's at the very least nice that they have the choice of maybe not wanting to do that and being a stay-at-home wife, despite the best efforts of certain people to just denigrate the institution entirely.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, no, it's again one of those things that I can't really comment much on today. Have you cut out?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to not get onto my soapbox.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I'm listening. It's fine.
Well, listen, you're the guest in this domicile. I'm not supposed to just choke you out with a lecture.
I mean, at the end of the day, the host has wisdom, right? There's a reason that you ended up creating what you've created, as in a
Do I?
podcast.
Do I really?
Ah,
My track record indicates the contrary.
well,
But
you
I'll
know
take the
what? That
compliment.
the best wisdom comes from those who have lived in condemned buildings in audit, working for audit firms, making even less than people complain about these days.
Yeah, yeah. To err is human.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, this is fun. Okay. You know what? It's been 3 hours. If you have things that you'd like to discuss, we can knock it out of the park, or we can just leave it for next time.
I was gonna say I'm always happy to leave it for next time because I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it has been a
Okay.
jolly good time, and I definitely would like to do this again if you'd have me back at some
Listen,
point.
I am immortalizing the Shinzo Shredder. I will
Of
find a way
course.
to do that.
Listen, maybe you
That
can replace that gun, which I can't remember the name of, behind me, with a with some aluminum pipes.
I will probably do that. There's probably, I think I've seen a model of the Abe shotgun somewhere.
No way.
If I look hard enough, I'll probably locate it.
Oh, it's
So
if it exists, it's out there.
yeah, yeah. So look forward to that. If I get around to rebaking this world, which was a little bit labor intensive, I may replace the XM7 with with the Shinzo Shredder.
What a
Oh,
glorious piece.
that's such a banger name, man. Thank you so much for for
Of
this
course.
gift.
I don't even remember what prompted that. It just came. I think it was just consonants came into my mind, and Shinzo came up, and Shredder, and
It it just
it just
works.
happened. Listen, the
It
greatest
just
strokes
works.
of brilliance are completely unintentional.
Yes, they're completely spontaneous. Hey man, it's been a pleasure. Do you have any upcoming projects that you wanna plug? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh fuck,
have
God,
a
have I
big
ever?
stream.
I am
Well,
a
do
man of
do tell.
nothing but projects. Right now, I've endeavored semi-independently of the knowledge of my chatters to finish everything I've started since I started streaming about a year ago in the context of this next month.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean by everything you've started? You mean every game you've started?
Every game I've started, every project I've started, everything that has a loose end. Because it's been a year
Aha.
and I have no fucking excuses left.
Well, at the very least, you've definitely progressed in the realm of hand tracking, so much so that you've spurred me to shill out the money for a leap motion. So look forward, chat. You can look forward to me flipping you off on stream, I guess.
Fuck yeah, I love that. I love flipping people off on stream. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, genuinely.
It is. I mean, listen, it's a complex gesture. It indicates a high degree of accuracy in your hand tracking software,
Oh,
so I don't see
absolutely.
why not. Yeah, it's very fair to use that as a benchmarking tool. It's you know what? It's another thing that struck me before, and I constantly keep forgetting to bring it up. Because for someone whose channel name is FuzaKeruNah, your content is just the best example of fucking fuzaketamane,
Yeah.
which I find to be especially
it's,
ironic.
it's a little. Listen, it was originally picked to be exactly what it means, but has now become poetically something of the opposite.
I love it. I love it. It's a better use of a tropey naming convention than, for example, Komi-san Can't Communicate.
Yeah.
Because yeah, talk about a show that's just made entirely like it's written in that it attempts to be Gogol, like the isn't like the Russian Ukrainian playwright, well,
Yeah.
Russian Empire, since Ukraine didn't exist then. So I'm gonna say that he was a Russian. Was he a playwright or was he more of a writer? Fuck it, never mind. But
He was a
he had
something.
that proclivity for names that also had um a part that were descriptors to the characters to
Yeah,
which
like
they were
identifiers
attached.
in a way.
Yeah, like labels to them. And Komi-san does the same thing, but it does that in a very plastic and tropey way. Like it shows you, oh yeah, we're a formulaic show and manga. And for some reason, I found that so off-putting. I don't know
I
why.
find
Maybe
it
it's the
grating.
contrarian in me.
No, I
Yeah,
also found
maybe.
it extremely grating, even from the moment I found it for the first time and thought, this is going to blow up. And then, go fucking
Yeah.
figure, it did.
Listen, the art is good for what it's
Yeah.
trying to do. It's a yonkome anyway, like it blossoms in that short format, but and it relies on being tropey and formulaic because being tropey and formulaic obviously works, but at the very least just pretend that you made an effort to be original. Like at
Yeah.
the very least, yeah, be the fucking what are they called? Fuck. Seitokai Yaku Indomo, which is also
Yeah.
originally a Yonkoma manga, also very formulaic, if still has a bit of an original twist on it, but at least there's an effort made, therefore it's quirky and it's funny.
Yeah,
This
there's a
is
little more. The word I've been using, the word I've taken to using recently is integrity of conduct in creating it. It doesn't.
yes,
It at
yes,
least tries to give a shit about what it's doing.
yes. And Komi-san strikes me as being subversive in the same way that Rick and Morty is subversive, and believe you me, that's not a compliment.
No, I would agree. It's like I don't know. It feels like Comey is something that would come out of a boardroom of specifically editors
Yes,
trying to produce
yes.
the biggest seller they can for the least effort.
It is it is made to be cookie cutter by design. It doesn't even cover that fact up. So if you're looking for something similar, I'm gonna recommend. What was the fucking name? Something Hitomi-san Can't Communicate, something like that. Like there's a parallel universe where that manga is actually good, and fortunately, it also exists. So look out for that one. I
Oh,
think that's a
Hitomi-chan is
superior
Shire
product.
Strangers.
Yes,
I
this
had to
one,
think of the
this one.
name.
I think that one is a significantly better twist on the same premise. It's also less tropey, less formulaic, and less um, tongue-in-cheekily cookie cutter. It's less a manufactured product to be consumed and more of a story to be told. There it is.
Yeah, it is. It's created, not made.
Yes. It's intended to be experienced as opposed to consumed.
Boy, do I love consuming.
Yeah, I'm very much concerned about Japanese media falling down the toilet bowl of consuming, which
Because that's the
is
last.
already a
That's
place
the
where,
first thing we need happening.
boy, I hope not. Well, Fuza, it's been fun.
It's been fantastic, Kuro.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully next time we'll figure out setup a little bit faster than
Yeah.
the than the 90 minutes that it took us.
You know what? Listen, it's the pilot episode.
Yeah, it is. It is the pilot. It is a proof of concept. That's why we made sure to pile on as. I think we've stopped just short of saying gamer words, just to pile on a few,
Yeah, that's fair.
giving the mob enough pitchforks to come after us. So let's see how that
Oh, listen,
pans out.
notoriety is notoriety.
There's no such thing as bad PR.
Exactly.
No such thing as bad publicity. And if anything, you know what? If they come for us with pitchforks, they can shove it up their own ass.
Yeah. Listen, man, it's
Yeah.
what a better hazing ritual than to speed run being canceled as fast as we humanly can.
Yeah. Listen, that's the last tangent. I tried to do that with Hogwarts Legacy. Boy, golly, did I fucking try, and they didn't come.
Damn.
And I think I know why. I know why. Because they're pussies.
Damn.
Because when they see someone with teeth, when they know that they can't bully you into
Into just
being
submission.
depressed, upset, yes, or just well, Silverveil didn't submit, but she was visibly shaken and upset.
That's
but when
true.
you try to bully someone who participates in hand-to-hand combat for fun, mean words on the internet stop really being a threat, and the best thing that you can extract out of me is trying to drive you into the fucking noose yourself.
Yeah.
I think that serves as a very big disincentive for them to engage with me. And you know what? I'm proud of that. Fuck
yeah.
those particular people.
Honestly, listen, if they want to cut the grass to the path to the noose, you'll be happy to pave it.
Exactly. All right, Fuza, it's been fun.
Yes, it's been wonderful.
Yeah. But let's play this one out and see you around.
See ya. Toodles.